Hi guys, we are in Glasgow for day 5 of the British Swimming Championships 2019. This is the penultimate day of racing, and with only a few events left to go, who's going to take the title? We'll have to wait and see. This is Deep End Live. Good evening and welcome to day 5 of the British Swimming Championships here in Glasgow. My name's John Mason and I am your host for Deep End Live. Ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday night starts right here. Thanks for joining us wherever you're tuning in from. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. You're joining us to see some of the best swimmers in the world battle it out in that pool behind me for the elusive title of British Champion, and hoping to make those qualification times to get themselves on that plane to World Championships this coming summer. You can see our wall here, our best of British up here. All of these athletes, British champions so far this week. And this is the penultimate day of racing. We're going to see quite a few more faces up there tonight, and it's going to be an absolutely brilliant one. We're also going to have a whole lot of fun, including up here, our speedboat challenge. It's a highlight for me. I can't wait till we get to that. But before we do, we've got to talk about last night. So, welcome to our studio, and joining me, Rebecca Adlington, Jimmy Goddard. Welcome back for day 5.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's gone so quick this week. I can't believe it. It's day 5 already. It's amazing. We've seen some awesome swimming. One of the highlights for me this week has probably been Duncan Scott breaking that British record. The only British record all week, which was amazing. Loads of great races to come. Loads more to happen tonight. But before we get to that, let's talk about last night. James, let's start with you. Jessica Full of Love, first race out the gate. I know. Probably my favourite interview last night was Jessica, because she sat down, she was so full of emotion, wasn't she? Her voice was warbling a little bit. It's because she's not done a personal best time for a long, long time. And me and Becky will know what it's like. Well, if you don't do a personal best, it is devastating. She did it by just 0.3 of a second. Really pleased for her. And of course, Becky, we then had James Guy, Freya Anderson. Talk us through those ones. Yeah, James put in a really good solid 100 fly last night, getting a 51.9. I think he'll be kind of wanting to book his actual spot on the World Championships team for the 200 freestyle, which comes tomorrow. Freya, absolutely fantastic for her. Saved her best till last, posting a 53. Getting a consideration times for Worlds. It was a very gutsy swim, as she left us having a bit of a panic and a heart attack and came through right in the last 15 metres, but 2 very, very solid swims. Super talented athletes, and finishing up the night with the 200-metre breaststroke. What unbelievable, wasn't it? Race! Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, those 2 lads pushed each other all the way. Both of them went 2:07, and sometimes you get that when you get 2 lads or ladies battling it out down that back 50 metres, pushing each other the whole way. It was amazing, wasn't it, Bex? It was amazing. Just having, I don't think there's ever been at British Trials 2 guys going under 2:08 before, and it is fantastic, as we could see both of these guys on that podium at the World Championships. I know, it's super exciting. And you said at the British Championships, I heard today, I'm not sure if it's fact, but I heard it's never happened anywhere in the world. This is the first time it's happened, which is brilliant. But of course, it's not just the British Championships that we have going on here in Glasgow. Coming up at the end of the year in December, we of course have the LEN European Short Course Championships. More swimming action for your viewing pleasure. So let's take a look at what you got to look forward to.
Now, as always, I've decided to pop up into the audience. I like to do this and come and meet some of our fans who are here cheering on our athletes. So what's your name, darling?
Alex.
Alex, and who are you here cheering on?
Freya Anderson.
Brilliant. Well, hope she does well. She has done so far this week. Now, I've got a little something here I need your help with. We're running a competition of our own. We are giving away tickets to the European Short Course Championships this December. So, I need you to pick a duck out of here, and we're going to see which lucky audience members won them. Let's have a look. What number have you got there for me? Read it out.
64.
64. So who has duck number 64? You guys! Yes! Yes! Oh my goodness, it's not the other end of the arena. For the first time all week, I don't have to run so far. Sorry, excuse me. I've got long legs, don't worry. Hi! How are you? What's your name?
Hannah.
Hannah, you got number 64. You're a big fan of swimming?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Are you excited now? You're going to be going to the European Short Course Championships in December?
Yes.
Yes, we love that. Who's your favourite swimmer?
Duncan Scott and Hannah Medley.
Oh, I love that. Well, they've swum really well, haven't they?
Yes.
We love it. Well, look, this is for you, okay? Congratulations. You got yourself tickets. We'll be seeing you back here in December. Now, of course, lots goes into making the best athletes in the world, including sports science. So we sent Jimmy on a little behind-the-scenes look to see how and what happens behind the scenes in sports science. So let's take a look at what he got up to.
So this is Matt Ashman, Head of Sports Science and Sport Medicine for British Swimming. Hi, Matt. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So my role is to manage the sports science, sports medicine team, which support the athletes and the coaches in trying to get that optimal performance in the water.
Yeah.
So this is our prep area. We're going to take you around in a minute where you're going to meet some of the guys that work with the athletes, and the job is to get them to swim as fast as they can in the water.
This is Rob Norman, Strength and Conditioning Coach for British Swimming. Rob, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, this is the final stage of the physical prep journey. So the guys come in here. The idea is to give them that final spike of body temperature. We want to power them up, and then we want to start marrying together that mental and that physical preparation.
Fantastic. Can you show us one exercise
Can
right
I
now
show
that can
ya?
like increase the power?
We call this the medicine ball slam, and this
Okay.
is the swimmer's favourite.
I remember it well.
They get nice and tall, and they
Boom.
fly down into the floor.
So this is Rich Chesser, nutritionist for British Swimming. Can you tell us a little bit about how you help the swimmers, perhaps on race day?
Sure. So race day nutrition is very individual for each swimmer. It's going to depend on their energy needs for racing first and foremost. So, for example, Ben Proud over the 50 free, completely different to Dan Jervis over the 1500.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the first thing we've got to do is address the factors that might limit their performance. So making sure there's enough energy available, making sure they're fully hydrated, and then we've got to recover them from maybe the morning heat into the final. So a lot of our nutrition is about recovery and then getting them ready for that final hit in the evening.
Fantastic. Lottie Murphy, psychologist for British Swimming. How do you help the guys before a race?
So typically, as a sports psychologist, I would be supporting the athlete or the swimmer mentally prepare, really. Mentally prepare for racing and allowing them to be in the optimal mindset that's robust and can basically allow them to perform under pressure.
Jane Carey, physiotherapist for British Swimming.
So at competition, the physios are often in the first part of the prep area where the athletes come and do their mobility exercises before they get into the pool for the swim warm-up. We're also available for treatments if needed. A lot of it is based around exercise though and sort of self-preparation.
Yeah, cool. I was just wondering, could you show us a couple of exercises?
Yeah, of
Maybe
course,
what the
no
swimmers
problem.
do before they race?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we often
What might
might
they
use
do?
the foam rollers.
Okay.
So if you lie on your back for
Yep.
me.
Okay. So here like this.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so if you pop your bum on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put your arms over your head into streamline.
Oh, and a streamline. I'm not as flexible as I used to be, but okay, let's give this a go.
And then kind of moving backwards and forwards. Perfect. So you're mobilising through your back.
Is it supposed to crack?
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
fine. That's no problem.
Whoa, there we go. Awesome.
Good.
Right, okay.
And then you might complement that with a bit of a dynamic exercise.
Okay.
So you could go on to hands and knees.
Yep.
And we're just going to loop through with one hand
Yeah.
and come up and out. Oh.
Nice.
I imagine they're a bit more flexible than us.
Good for like the
normally.
pecs in here. This is
Yeah,
great.
good.
Very nice. Ollie Logan, analysis lead for British Swimming. Hi, Ollie. How are
Okay,
you?
nice
Can you
to
tell
see
us
you.
what we do?
Yeah, so we're here kind of in the analysis area. So we will record all of the races
Yep.
for particularly program athletes. Then we'll analyze their race. So we'll tag all of their strokes, all of the times they've gone to the distances. And then what we do with that is we feed that back to the coaches and athletes.
Yep.
So for example, after the heats this morning, we'll have given some key information to some of the athletes around how they can get faster, how they can improve, and make those qualification time for Worlds.
So as you can see, it isn't just the swimmer that wins the gold medal, it's the whole team behind the scenes.
The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
There you have it. Loads to look forward to tonight. It's going to be a full night of action here down at Tollcross. We start with the men's 800-meter freestyle, then the women's 50-meter backstroke. We move on to the men's 50-meter freestyle, the women's 400-meter freestyle, the men's 200 IM, and the women's 200-meter IM. So, Becky, James, loads to look forward to. Let's start with those 50s. Georgia Davis.
Yeah, Georgia, she was really disappointed, wasn't she, with that 100-meter backstroke. I'm hoping she can bounce back tonight and do something really, really special in that 50, yeah.
And then, of course, Ben Proud. First time we're seeing him in the water. Super excited for that.
Ben did not disappoint this morning after seeing him. He cruised that 50. It was almost scary how easy it looked for him. So I think something special is going to come.
And then, of course, we're moving on to your event, the 400, Becky. Bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, and Holly Hibbert going in that. I can't see past Holly. I think hopefully she can put in a really good performance to get that consideration time for Worlds, because she was out on her own a bit this morning, so hopefully some of those other girls can push her on.
Yeah, and we were sort of talking about that, you know, being out there in front in a distance event like that can be tough racing your own race, but I know she's going to be trying to get onto that plane. Finishing with the IMs. Do you miss your event?
Yeah, the 200 IM. Yeah, well, it was my event. Now, Max Litchfield's got the British record. So, I mean, but we talked about Max quite a lot this week. Actually, the fastest qualifier is Joe Litchfield. But from Joe Litchfield, who's fastest, to Duncan Scott, who's fourth, the fastest, 0.4 of a second separating those four lads, we could be in for an absolute cracker tonight.
I think that's going to be one of the races of the night, 100%. And of course, we're finishing up with Siobhan Marie O'Connor, silver medalist in Rio in this event, the 200 IM. I'm so excited to see how she does tonight.
Especially after that morning heat. She looks so good this morning. I've been dying to see Siobhan race all week. I love watching her race. And she stopped swimming at 150.
Yeah.
That last 50, she was swimming down this morning.
I know.
Yeah.
And she still had an absolutely killer time, so I think she's going to be one to watch tonight.
And she's only focusing on two races as well this week, 200 IM and 100 breaststroke, so she's cut her programme right down to focus on her two favourite events, which I think is pretty smart.
I know. So, as we said, loads to look forward to tonight. Now, I know Jimmy caught up with Siobhan Marie O'Connor the other day. She's in the pool, as we said, so let's take a look at what she had to say.
We are here with the wonderful Siobhan Marie O'Connor, Olympic silver medalist from Rio. Siobhan, hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
And you?
Good. British Championships, another World Championship trials. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been here for the whole of the meet and I'm waiting to race on Saturday. I've got the 200 medley and 100 breast. And yeah, I can't wait to get started, really.
Awesome. I noticed you've only got, because usually your schedule's really, really busy. Only the two events this week. Why is that?
You know, I think I just wanted to try and focus on the events that I thought I had the best chance in.
Yeah.
You know, just save myself the 200 medley. It's my favourite event, it's my best event, so I kind of just wanted to, just wanted to save myself for that, really, give myself the best chance of doing well in that.
Awesome, fantastic. I want to talk to you about, I mean, you've had a little bit of a disappointment, I know, over the last maybe year, 18 months. How do you bounce back from disappointment? Because I know a lot of the kids out there, when they swim, they have bad swims. How do you bounce back from that?
I think it's, you know, sport, one of the great things of sport is it's full of highs and lows, and I think the test of a good athlete is how you deal with those setbacks, and you know, it is about, you know, I've had sort of success in like recent or past years, but before that I had setbacks, and then that helped me to then be a better swimmer for Rio, and so yeah, I've had quite a few setbacks throughout the whole of my career, so I'm sort of, it is just how you deal with them, and it's tough, but you've got to just think, you know, sport is never always up. Like, the journey is like this. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom. Going to do something a little bit more fun now.
Yeah.
We've got these cards here, and a few of the athletes have done them already. Here's Siobhan Marie O'Connor's. So instead of top trumps, we're calling it top trunks. Yay, cool, right? So the 6 categories: start, underwater, speed, strength, endurance, and technique. We want you to rate what you think you are out of 100. Obviously 100 being like unbelievable, 0 being terrible. Like for start, 0 would be like a belly flop. Siobhan, you ready?
I think so, yeah.
So you take it there.
Okay,
you can
thank
take
you.
it. Here's your pen. What do you think about your start? I think personally Siobhan's got an amazing start, by the way. Like, I do really, really like your start. I think it's great. But what do you think out of 100?
I don't know. I'd say like my start is probably one of my strengths when I don't get DQ'd. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say probably my start is out of all of these.
Yeah, is up there.
Yeah, up there.
So what would you give yourself out of 100?
Don't know how like to play it.
Just whatever you think. Whatever you think. It's totally up to you.
I'd give it 80. Like it's probably a good. Like,
80. Okay.
Yeah, there's always
80.
room for improvement. So I suppose like
well, there
80.
You go. You see. There you go.
Yeah.
80. Okay. What's next? Underwater. Turns, underwater skills.
Turns. Off the start is good, but then probably off the wall, I think I'm always told to try and stay underwater and that breast are free, and I just can't. You know, when your like lungs are gasping. So probably like a 70, 60.
Very conservative.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know because I do.
This is the Olympic silver medalist, by the way.
I do want to be like
70.
100.
Okay. All right. Okay. Speed.
Speed.
How's your speed?
Good.
Pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. I mean,
I want to know what everyone else
really
put.
self-critical. Very self-critical. But
I am very self-critical.
What do you think? Speed.
75.
75. Cool. Strength.
75 again.
75
probably.
again. Okay. So endurance. How do you put yourself with endurance?
I mean, don't really swim anything over 200.
Well, this is it. I know. I was just about to say you've got great speed.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about a 400 IM?
Oh. Maybe I'd say that's probably out of all of them. I'm probably less of an endurance
60?
swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
technique.
I'd say my technique's quite good.
I'd say it's pretty good. Yeah, I'd say it's very good.
Although the boys in my squad say my
Would they?
freestyle's terrible, so I would say.
Is that before or after you beat them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say my technique's okay, so
Yeah.
I'd go 80 for that.
80.
Yeah.
Well, there we have it.
There you
Siobhan Marie O'Connor, there is your top trunks. Very conservative, I'd say, but there you go. Well
Okay.
done. Thanks for talking to us, Baddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, there you have it. Siobhan Marie O'Connor. You will see her in the pool tonight. She's the final race of the night and certainly one to look forward to. Now, we're back down here in the Deep End Live studio, and I'm being joined by 2 very, very special guests. They've been racing all week, absolutely killing it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome James Guy and Freya Anderson. Guys, thanks for joining us down here in the studio. Jimmy, let's start with you. Pretty solid week for you. Your main event tomorrow. How have you been feeling as we sort of gone through this week?
Yeah, it's kind of been an up and down week for me, really. Both the flies were just okay swims. Last night I was pretty good, to be honest with you. I wanted to go a lot faster than that, but job done. Hopefully made the team for Worlds and do the business then. Yeah.
And I mean, we were sort of talking about this. Obviously, there's big places on the relays. Relays are a big sort of eyesight for a lot of you. If you make a relay team, fingers crossed for the Worlds, how do you guys come together with the training for that in terms of takeovers, etc.? Because we were saying the US team, so good at it. How do we do it, being spread across the country?
Well, it's the first time this year we've had like a medley relay camp. So a while ago in Loughborough, it was Mel's idea to have the relay guys come together and start doing these different takeovers and that, and it was a great idea, and that's where a foundation we can build on from that, so it's exciting times for Tokyo next year.
So Freya, job done this week, pretty much. You've got 100 metres butterfly tomorrow as well. But from now to the World Championships, what kind of things do you do? How do you take it to that next level? You'll have training camps and maybe some other competitions?
Well, I've got my exams coming up in like May, June, so just to get them out the way, that'd be good. And then just sort of get my head down in training and analysing them races and then taking them back, you know, to training and seeing what else I can work on.
Is that tough to juggle the training and juggle the school work? Is it tricky?
Yeah, but then I go to Ellesmere College, like it's all in one place, so like the pool's 2 minutes away and the boarding houses and all the classrooms and everything, so it's quite easy there and everyone's really supportive, which is good.
James, I want to ask, obviously you've got your main event tomorrow. It is such a stacked field. You probably saved the hardest, but obviously your favourite to last. You've got to have to swim pretty quick just to make it through to the final.
Yeah, I was having a chat with my coach before, Joel, and looking who can make it back, and it's going to be interesting. There's some real fast guys coming in through now, especially the younger guys coming through, and everyone wants a spot for the relay. They'll probably take 6 guys, and we know we're the world champions in that event now for the last 2 world championships, so Olympics of medalists as well. So it's exciting times for us, and everyone wants to be a part of that.
So how do you guys now as well, if you make the world's teams, you get your schedule, how do you balance your front crawl, your butterfly? Obviously, Freya, you're doing the 100 butterfly tomorrow. How do you manage that with your training schedule? How do you know, or do you just pick, or do you still carry on doing both?
It depends, really. It depends which part of the cycle we're on. Most of the time, if we're in the middle of the week, I might do a fly set or a freestyle set. But it depends what kind of endurance block we're in, and that's probably the most important thing.
Well, I don't really train fly at all or any other strokes, so it's just all freestyle for me, really.
Fun event tomorrow, then.
Yeah, just for a bit of fun.
Well, I mean, speaking of fun, I wanted to ask you guys, what's fun about being a professional swimmer? Like, what do you guys really like? I mean, for me, when I used to be a pro swimmer, I loved racing, and I loved a pro swimmer. I used to love racing, and beating people was like so much fun for me. But what about you guys? What do you love about being a professional swimmer?
I think I really love racing, and I love like the friendships you make as well. It sounds really soppy, but like having all these close swimming friends that sort of know what you go through every day is like
definitely
really good.
being part of the team.
Yeah, team
absolutely.
environment, I think, yeah.
And does that really help? I know you sort of broke out onto the scene at such a young age as well, Freya. How have you handled the pressure? You step up on major international stages and you have such a good game face. Is that just a phase, you know?
I don't know. I think you either thrive in that environment or you sink a bit, but I guess I like being in front of a crowd, I guess. Which you never expect that from me because I've always been really shy as a young girl, and then I'd much rather be in front of 10,000 people swimming than like speaking like this. So it's just what I like to do, I guess.
And how about you, James?
For me, I think traveling around the world's pretty special. January I was in America, February I was in Australia, so and a little bit in Greece as well. But most of the time, it's kind of I love the hard training, the hard sessions we do. And then when you get on the blocks and you're racing like Michael Phelps at the Olympics a few years ago, it's just like, wow, this is what it's all about. And it's kind of racing the best guys in the world, and I've loved doing that since I was a young boy.
I mean, it's been incredible watching you do it as well. Now, I know we are going to be having our own competition. We are having our speed boat challenge. You guys, have you seen this? Are you excited for it? You feeling nervous?
James, you were asking us tactics before you even sat down. He was like, what do I need to do? How do I win?
I know, he was even, I'm going to grass you up a little bit now. He was even saying, can Freya go first so I can see how the boats move? sorry, James.
I've shotgun Freya's going first so I can see what's going to happen.
So we're going to have a look here. Dan Jervis is having a cracker week, even with the Speedboat Challenge. 9 seconds. He's our top guy. We've got Hannah Miley, 13.03. All right, she's our top girl. So those are the times you're aiming for. It is harder than you think, but we're going to bring you over. So let's head on over. Come on over. All right. I loved it, James. What strategies have we got for the Speedboat Challenge? Ever the professional. All right, so who wants to go first? You're going to go first? This is it? All right, Freya. So, very simple. Get it from this end to that end, okay? As fast as you can. Advice, slow and steady. Strategy, yeah? You ready?
Yeah.
You got the rules?
I guess, yeah.
I love it. All right, we ready? Timing? 3, 2, 1, go. Go, 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 go. Come on, come on. No! Oh no, you know, I think we might have time to get that. We do have time, so we're going to give you a second go. All right, put the other boat in while we get that one out. There you go. All right, so that was like your practice round. You now know how crazy it is. You ready? Let's get that boat in. 3, oh no, let it go, Dan. Let us go with this one. 3, 2, 1, go. Go, 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 go. Freya! She's given up. She's a DNF. She's a DNF. Bring it back. We'll grab it here. Freya, a little bit different than taking on a 50. A little bit different than taking on a 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang it up.
That's a DNF. Don't worry, Becky Adlington got that as well. Jimmy, what's your strategy? I know you were planning it out.
Right, so I've seen Freya mess it up, so I'm going to go a bit slower and try and bring it back.
Yes. Okay, that's a really good idea. Come on, Glasgow, let's get behind him. 3, 2, 1, go. Slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. That's it. That's it. He's picking up pace. Oh, it looks like he's having a strong back end. Yes, he's made it. Yes, round of applause to James Scott. 13.4. You happy with that?
No.
You wanted to win. Well, look, at least you made it. Congratulations, mate. Let's get ahead over here. We'll get your scores up on that. How was that, though? Harder than you think?
Yeah, it is actually, yeah. But at least I beat Freya, though, so that's something.
All right, let's get your scores up here. Well done, guys. All right, James, you are where? Here. There. Oh, and Freya's already up. Unfortunately, Freya, let's have a look at that. You're a DNF. But don't worry, you're joining the legendary likes of Rebecca Adlington and Jazz Carlin. So, exactly, worst places you could be. All right, if you're watching us at home, we're heading over to the stream. You're going to be joining Bob Ballard and Becky Adlington there for the commentary. And for us here, we're about to get the action underway. So strap yourselves in. You're in for an exciting night. We'll see you in a bit.
That James guy is so competitive, isn't he? Every single nerve and sinew tells you that he really wanted to get a quick time. They're not as quick as our winning time. Thank you, John. Thank you, James. Thank you, Becky, who'll be joining me in just a few moments' time for the racing itself. Welcome to the penultimate day, the penultimate finals of this 2019 British Swimming Championships. And have we got some big names in for you? We've got so many of our European and world stars in here. It's difficult to know exactly where to start. We've got Ben Proud going in the 50. We've got so many who could possibly take the men's 200 IM. The Litchfield boys are in there. Mark Zoranek is in there. Duncan Scott's in there. First up, we'll have the 800 freestyle fastest heat. We won't see Dan Jervis. We will see Tom Derbyshire, Luke Turley and Nathan Hughes all aim for a very tough time for the Worlds. And of course, during the course, we will have, as I mentioned, the 50 free, the 400 freestyle for women, Holly Hibbert going in that. And then we'll see Siobhan Marie O'Connor, who looked absolutely superb in the 200 IM heats this morning. She'll be in there later on. So if you want big names from British swimming, we've got pretty much, not all of them, but a fair sprinkling of them in here tonight. Looking forward to this immensely. There will be some very, very good swims. And of course, there have to be very good swims because the target times for the World Championships in South Korea in July are very, very tough indeed. A lot of questions to pose. Will we see something exceptional from the 200 meters individual medley for men and for women? We'll know that later on in the program. But there's a slight delay here, so we'll have a little ramble. I'll let Becky get herself back into the seat. Of course, the 50 freestyle is one that's going to be obviously the shortest race of the week, but might be the most intriguing in terms of time. Ben Proud looked terrific this morning. His British record of 21.11, maybe that's under threat. The way he looked this morning, that is very possible, because even though it's 21.57, he looked to have plenty to spare, and we'll see him a little later on. Becky now back alongside me. No Dan Jervis in the 800. Well, I think we're a little bit surprised by that, aren't we?
He didn't qualify.
Oh, really?
I asked Dan the other night, and I said, how come you're not doing the 800? And he said, I didn't get the qualifying time to even come here. I think because they don't race 800, and obviously you have to do the qualifying time within a certain time frame. And the last time he did one was too long ago, so he couldn't even qualify. So he's doing the 200 freestyle tomorrow as a full event.
Right, okay. So all the emphasis then is on the only swimmer we have in the program who's got a sub 8-minute time. That's Tom Derbyshire.
Yeah, no, it's one of those that this morning we saw huge chunks off their personal best, didn't we, through the heats this morning. So it's one of those, I wouldn't be surprised that if we saw an abundance of personal best tonight, because these boys, they haven't raced it that much. I mean, the men's 1500 isn't in the programme very often at weekend competitions, let alone the men's 800. So it's one of those tonight that they'll all probably be wanting to improve on their personal best.
How excited are you by both the men's and the women's 200 IM tonight?
We always seem to save like such good races towards the end, don't we? But
well, we've got two of them this time, you know, back to back. You know, I would say the 200 IM, well, obviously 200 free you mentioned when you're having a chat in the studio, is kind of wide open, but also the 200 IM is, when you look at the list there, Duncan Scott's in there, the two Litchfield boys are in there, Mark Zoranek, we know the work he's been doing in America. you know, you've got to find a winner from probably 4 or 5 possibilities there.
Yeah, to be honest, I think tonight is a very, very exciting night. I mean, I'm also very excited by Ben Proud, just as you were saying. I think he just looked incredible this morning. But for those 200 IMs, I mean, it's the first time we've seen Siobhan Marie O'Connor as well this week. We were wondering what sort of form she was on. And my gosh, this morning we were blown away because that last 50 metres on the front crawl, she just swam down. Like, she was taking it that easy.
Afraid we have a small technical delay, so if you are just joining us and thinking the swimming should be underway, indeed it should, but they are trying to rectify the problem there, so it gives us a chance to chat a little bit more about Siobhan this morning and the way that she swam that. And you know, I kept saying in the commentary, well, she's going to ease up now, but in fact she didn't. She went for it big time. There was no kind of last 15 metres, all right, well, I can go from gear 5 to gear 2. I mean, she may have eased off a little bit, but it wasn't that noticeable.
Oh, it was down the last 10 metres to me. She just glided into the wall. She totally took her foot off. But I think that's because I've seen, as you have, seen Siobhan, that we know she's got a good freestyle. We know that she's got a really strong leg kick. She has a really powerful last 50. And this morning, to me, just looked a little bit easy. All the other 4 strokes, I think she did try to go for. She tried to blow those cobwebs away. But down that front crawl, she kind of looked around and went, oh yeah, miles ahead, I'll ease off a little bit now. And she saved her races. In the past, we've used to seeing Siobhan do 5, 6 events, do the 100 metres freestyle, the 200 freestyle, the 100 butterfly, everything else, whereas now she's really narrowed her programme down. She's saved her events for this and the 100 breaststroke tomorrow. She's trying to qualify for that world's time, and I think both the men's and the women's is going to be very strong. And it would be interesting. For me, the surprise this morning was Hannah Miley. All week we've been saying how her ankle's really struggling and how this is not her year. And then she swam a fantastic heat swim this morning, taking that pressure off. She had a great heat swim, but I think the men's is just going to be absolutely stacked. Like you said, there's just nothing separating them. Joe did do a personal best this morning, so for Max, he was a bit far off. So I would expect Max to kind of have a lot more in the bag. But Duncan Scott looked incredible, as did Tom Dean.
Yeah, Tom Dean, obviously the first time we've seen him this week as well. So now he's got a race under his belt and he's managed to get those cobwebs out of the system. We know he'll go quicker tonight. So as I was saying, you know, Mark Zoranek in there, the 2 Litchfield boys, Duncan Scott, Tom Dean. You know, it is a wide open field there.
It is, and it's a very difficult world's time. Obviously, we'll remind you of it again when we get to the event, but the first place time is a 1:56.85, and the consideration time is a 1:57.8. So it is not hanging about, and I hope that all 4 boys really push each other on, really use their strengths and weaknesses to push that time right down.
Max has been quicker than that. His British record is marginally quicker than that, only by 18/100ths. But he has done that time, so he knows he can do that time.
Yeah, and obviously Max has already qualified for the Worlds on the 400, but it would be nice to kind of see some of those boys other boys get in the consideration time. If we can see 2 dip under that consideration time, I think it would be incredible.
One I think we probably can, well, obviously the 50 freestyle for men we can name now. We'll say that Ben Proud, providing there's no DQ, fingers crossed, don't say that, Bob, and don't put the hex on him.
Yep.
The 400 freestyle for women, if that's not Holly Hibbert, I will be absolutely amazed.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like this week we've been talking so much about men's breaststroke, and it's strange how in some events we've got a standout clear winner, and then in other events we've got so much depth and so much world-class swimmers. But I think the thing to remember for those guys sat at home is a lot of these, I mean, I was looking down at the women's 400 free. There are so many juniors in that final. We've got a 15-year-old in the 400 free. We've got 3 17-year-olds that actually, yes, it might be Holly out on her own, but in a couple of years' time, it won't be Holly just out on her own, because there is some younger athletes that are just not quite there yet, but they are getting that way on.
Well, the lights have been dimmed, which I hope is an indication that we are about to get underway. 800 freestyle fastest heat will be first up, and then we'll move on to the 50 backstroke finals. The men will be going with the 50 freestyle. That was your quick run through of what we're going to have with the 400 freestyle for women and then the 200 IM. Right, David Davis's 800 meters freestyle record still stays on the books from 10 years ago, and I think it's unlikely, well certainly I think it's very unlikely, because if that British record is broken, that senior time for the Worlds will be achieved. Tom Derbyshire is the only swimmer in the field who has been sub 8 minutes. He'll be in lane 4. We'll bring them on to pool deck very shortly. And as we mentioned, in case you're tuning in thinking, oh, is Dan Jervis going to do the 4, the 8 and the 15 treble? Well, as he hasn't got the qualifying time, amazing for the 800, he's not even entered.
No, it could be one of those that he might say, you know what, if he swims it between now and Worlds, because he's already on that World Championship team, he could add it into the programme because he is already selected. So it is that option for him, but I don't know whether he even wants to add it into his programme. I think it will be how his 200 metres goes tomorrow, because Dan had some serious speed over that 400, and yes, it is a fun event for him, and he called it that, but we could see something extra special on the 200, because I think the boys 200 well, the men's, not the boys, the men's 200 freestyle tomorrow is going to be a jam-packed
Well,
final.
you said it. I mean, even to get to the open final on Sunday night, it's going to take some doing, and there might well be 1 or 2 casualties of that, because you cannot, it's one of those events where you can't swim 80% in the morning, because you may not make that final in the evening.
Definitely not.
So here comes our lineup, going obviously outside lane in for the 800 metres freestyle. This is the fastest heat. Davide Arioli of Millfield School in 1. And by the way, you may see on pool deck the Millfield coaching team, who are wearing their Shockingly Shirt Saturday shirts. Yeah, it's Shockingly Shirt Saturday for the guys from Millfield. 2 will be William Bell. I know they're going in slightly different order from the way I'm going to go through here, but they're coming on pool deck now. 3 is Luke Turley of Bath. There are 2 Bath swimmers side by side, actually. Luke Turley, there he is in 3. Tom Derbyshire in lane 4, fastest one. There's Nathan Hughes of Hatfield, looked after by Janko Gojkovic. He's gone 8:05.15 against his name. But this is the fastest man. Dave McNulty's swimmer from Bath, Tom Derbyshire, entered in on well, his personal best is 7:58.26, and he's got to do a 12-second PB to get the first senior time, and he's got to do a 9-second PB to get the secondary time. So maybe he's aiming at a 7:49. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But that's maybe more within his range.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these guys, it is about experience. I think it's a fairly new event in the programme for probably some of these. Probably used to either swim in the 400 or the 1500. So these boys are either going to have to swim up or swim a lot further down, and it requires a lot more speed. So I would expect quite a few personal best times, though.
It's interesting to see the way the Italians have got the best 815s these days, pretty much. And they're kind of going through the card 4, 8, 15, and doing open water as well. They really are putting a lot in one basket there. Gabriele Detti has had the best time of the year, and he has in a couple of other events as well, as we get the 16-length final heat of the 800 metres freestyle underway. I'll just run through that lineup again for you. Might have been a bit garbled at the beginning. Davide Arioli of Millfield, William Bell, City of Leicester. Bath with 2 swimmers side by side in 3, Luke Turley, Tom Derbyshire in 4. 5 is Nathan Hughes, who's got a decent start, but not as good as Sam Budd of Sheffield, who's really going for it in 6. 7, Sam Osborne of City of Birmingham, and 8, William Riley. And Sam Budd, right on the cusp of that 8 minutes. His coach, I spoke to a little early on, thinks he can maybe knock a few seconds off that 8 minutes. He certainly wants to see him go sub 8 minutes. That's a good barrier for him to break tonight if he can.
Yeah, it's one of those that for some of these guys, they're fairly new on the scene, so it's a great chance to get to know us. But I think it's one of those that how you swim in 800. We've talked a lot about this week about tactics and how you break that down. You've got to have enough in the bag to be able to come back strong. A lot of people like to negative split it, back-end it, save themselves for that last 100 metres. But I really hope here, with having quite an equal field, that they'll be able to kind of bunch together, really use one another, because it's very, very difficult when you're just out swimming on your own. It's quite a lonely place to be.
Well, Sam Budd is going to turn 21 later on in this year, just turned 20 back end of 1998. Season's best is 8:10. Personal best say is 8 minutes. He'll have plenty of opportunities in May as well if they choose to put him through that. He's got 3 North East Counties meets, 1 in Sheffield and 2 in Leeds, to potentially bring that time down a little bit more if they enter him into it. But Sam Budd looking very controlled, and I was expecting maybe Tom Derbyshire to be higher up in the mix. He's not at the moment.
No, he's not, and it's either one of those that he's just taking it really smooth this first 200 metres and he's just going to pick it up each 100 metres. We saw Dan Jervis earlier in the week. I think you took his splits, Bob, on that 1500 and he was just repping 59, 59, 59, 59. He was really, really consistent. But over the 800, I think you can play about with it a bit more. You can change your splits as much as it is nice to be even every single time, which what Sam Budd is doing. Some of those athletes that know they've got a little bit more endurance than they have speed will come back strong, but I definitely thought Tom Derbyshire would be up there with Sam Budd.
Well, he's obviously going to have to go very speedily over the last 400 the way things are looking, because you can see the gap between our leader and Tom Derbyshire is about 3 seconds at the moment. In terms of distance, you can see on your screen quite a way, and Derbyshire's back in 4th place right now. There's challengers coming on this side of the pool. Second at that turn was William Bell of the city of Leicester. But Sam Budd of Sheffield. You don't have too many swimmers in tonight, so they'll be emphasising the swims are about 3 or 4 of them during the course of the evening.
Sam Budd has got a really nice technique as well as, I think with distance swimming traditionally, probably they swim a little bit more like Tom Derbyshire here, that Tom's not really using his legs. I mean, if you look at his stroke, it's kind of an odd kick every now and again, but it's mainly arms and upper body.
Nice elbows on Sam Budd, aren't they?
Yeah, whereas Sam's got a really kind of nice technique. He's got a strong leg kick all the way through. He's not saying, right, I'm going to keep a low kick. He will be able to pick it up, hopefully, even more so down that last 100 metres. But he's got really lovely skills, really nice underwater phase as well, because we were talking a lot this morning with Kerry-Ann Payne about turns as well, and why distance swimmers tend to have slightly rubbish turns in this country. I was one of those, so I can say that. Whereas Sam's got a lovely underwater phase.
2.5 seconds there was between him and the rest of the field when they turned at this end. Now let's see what it's going to be like at the halfway stage. 400 metres completed, so 2.5 seconds between him and William Bell before. It's around about 2 seconds, so William Bell's just clawing a little bit back. Tom Derbyshire's now moving through into 3rd place, William Riley in 4th, and this is where everybody else starts to make their charge.
I think as well the fact that they kind of Sam Budd split under that 4 minutes mark at the 400 is a really good indicator, as I think you kind of need that sort of split over the 800 to break that 8-minute barrier. Otherwise, you're kind of probably going to be more than likely a little bit out of reach of that.
Yeah, he's going to have to, well, he's certainly got a couple of seconds in the bag anyway, in terms of a bit of latitude to move. The lead is still around about 2 to 3 seconds. Though it may be just getting slightly smaller, but not by a great deal. The City of Leicester swimmer William Bell still going well in 2. Derbyshire's making his way through. And, of course, this will be the 500 turn, so there'll be 300 to go here. How big is the gap between our top 2 at the moment? It's getting on for 2 seconds, just over 2 seconds. Derbyshire now is within range of William Bell. Luke Turley is in 4th place. Lots of the swimmers, as you mentioned, don't really do this very often, but William Bell is hanging in there very, very well. Sam Budd. Now, I'm not sure whether Mike Taylor told Sam to try and break the field early on. He's done it pretty well, but he hasn't won it yet because there's still enough time for both William Bell and for Tom Derbyshire to catch him. Gap is still, well, it's a bit longer now, a bit bigger actually between Budd and Bell. So whilst it looks like he's swimming very easily, he's swimming very efficiently and very effectively too.
Yeah, Sam looks really in control here. Looks kind of nice and relaxed. It doesn't like he's using too much effort, does it? It's kind of one of those that looks very comfortable. You would like to think he's left enough in the tank. I mean, with only 200 metres to go, here's right now where you do start to kind of rev it up, start to pick it up slowly. He has as well. His leg kick looks slightly stronger there, and he's going to want to use the swimmers pool side as well that are over that side. Kind of look over at his coach as well, see what sort of time. They're all cheering him on, the Sheffield lot, giving him a little wave.
260s, and he will have broken the 8-minute barrier for the first time. So we'll get a better indication, of course, when he comes back down this end as to whether he's in range. He certainly is in range, but I don't think, unless there's an amazing response from Tom Derbyshire, that he's going to catch Sam Budd in this one.
No, the exciting thing, though, is William Bell, who is in 2nd place. The junior time that William Bell needs is an 8:04.9. So he's going to be very, very close to that. If William Bell can start to pick it up a little bit, he could get close to that time.
So we'll know when he turns now what Sam Budd has to do to get under that 8-minute barrier for the first time. And that is a 7 minutes dead, virtually. So as he comes back in a 59, he will have done it. But William Bell is looking massively strong here. The junior from Leicester in lane 2. Well, he's working hard, but he is catching Sam Budd. And so now is Tom Derbyshire. Tom Derbyshire will not catch him over the next 65 metres, though, I'm absolutely certain. But William Bell has a chance of doing so, but there's still a gap, and there's still an appreciable gap between Sam Budd and William Bell of getting on for 2 seconds. Now, it's that 8-minute barrier. It won't be a senior time for the World Championships, but that's not really what it was about tonight for Sam Budd. It was to try and get under 8 minutes for the very first time. Obviously, for William Bell, we're looking at a time of 8:04.98. for a junior qualification. He's certainly in the mix for that. If he keeps this going, he's going to get that, surely. He's going to get that 8:04, certainly. Come on, here's the time. Oh, yes! Yes, yes, yes. Well done, Sam Budd, and the junior time as well for William Bell. So that's a good double whammy, isn't it? Sam Budd under 8 for the first time with a 7:59.72 tight, but he did it. And William Bell at 8:01.20. And it was 8:10.18, his personal best before this. More importantly, though, Becky, is that junior time. He's 3 seconds inside it.
Yeah, the juniors have got a great year with European juniors and world juniors. So there is dual qualification there. It is the same time for both. So William will be absolutely ecstatic with that result.
I know that Russ Barber will be looking in Sheffield. He was here for the first couple of days, but he's back in the Steel City now. He'll be watching this stream and probably jumping around the front room at Sam Budd, getting into the 7s rather than the 8s now. That's a good progress. It's not a massive PB, but it's just the psychological thing of getting through that 8-minute barrier for him.
Yeah, PB's a PB, isn't it? That's how I always treated it.
He'll be thrilled, and we'll hear from him in just a moment. Just qualification time for William Bell in the juniors, 8:01.20. That's how everybody else did. Tom Derbyshire probably not feeling that's a great time for him, 8:03.42. Never really in the race, was he, to be honest?
Came back slightly more towards the end. I mean, I think at the first 200 metres, he was about 5th or 6th.
Well, let's hear from the winner of the 800 freestyle, Sam Budd, with the boys in the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new British champion and a personal best time. Samuel, congratulations, mate.
Cheers.
Oh,
big swim.
Under 8 minutes. Is that a big marker for you?
Yeah, it's a pretty big marker for me. I'd like to win a little bit quicker, but end of the day, I can't be upset with my first gold medal at British Champs.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a really gutsy swim as well. You went out for it, you built this lead, you know, maybe 2 or 3 body lengths down the first 400, and you kind of held off any kind of charge. Was that the tactics going in?
Yeah, I wanted to get out pretty quick. I was really good to 200, probably 300-400. I dropped off a bit of my pace, but I managed to pick it back up a little bit, that third 200. And just kind of held on last 200.
Yeah, and the city of Sheffield, such a great history in distance swimming especially, actually. What's it like training there?
Oh, amazing. I've been there since I was about 6. Been there my whole life, and the club at the minute is doing amazing. Yeah. I mean, we've had a little bit of a tough couple of years, but I think the club as a whole is doing really good at the minute, and we're all getting back there, so it's good.
Well, look, mate, congratulations, absolutely brilliant. You are now part of our Best of British up here on the wall, so we're going to get your photo. But ladies and gentlemen, can we please get a round of applause for your new British champion, Samuel Budd.
Cheers, thank you.
Well done, Sam, and very well done indeed to our junior qualifier, and what a terrific performance that was from William Bell of Leicester. Well done, Jamie Evans as well, his coach in Leicester, getting him down from an 8:10 to a low 8 minutes. And that's 8-minute barrier will be broken by him probably before the end of 2019, hopefully. 50 backstroke for the juniors, because there's no qualifying time for this, because it's not a qualification event as far as this event is concerned, the British Swimming Championship, so we don't need to look at a junior or a senior time here. But the lineup will be Emily Ford of the City of Oxford, Holly Painter of Millfield, Heather Whitcomb of Soundwell, 4 is Charlie Jones of Royal Wolverhampton, 5 Eve Wright of City of Peterborough. There you are, that's your full list. Soraya Evans of Cumbria, Katie Henderson of Guildford, and Iona McLeod of Dundee City Aquatics will be in lane number 8. Quite a few PBs this morning. There were 4 of them in total. And we're looking for somebody to get into the 29s. Charlie Jones has been in the 29s, actually. So maybe today is the day when she will get there as well for Royal Wolverhampton. It's all 30s for everybody else. Best start. Well, good start at the top of the picture from Iona McLeod, and also from Eve Wright in lane number 5 from Peterborough. Charlie Jones now just about working her way through, as indeed is Heather Whitcomb of Soundwell. Heather Whitcomb is looking very strong in lane 3 for Soundwell. Maybe she'll be the surprise packer here, or Emily Ford. Emily Ford in lane 1 going for it. Emily Ford in lane 1, just edged out by Heather Whitcomb. 29.51 for Heather Whitcomb. Well, she did her season's best this morning. She's on a personal best tonight. She's never been in the 29s, nor has Emily Ford. And Charlie Jones, in fact, we had 3 there, all getting inside the 30-second barrier. And Emily Ford, who had been a 30.42, takes 0.8 of a second off her previous best. But Heather Whitcomb in lane number 3 from Small Soundwell Club, John Wills, that's his charge.
Hey Bob, you asked for people to go under 30 and they did. What are you asking for on this one?
Right, well, I'm looking through, I'm saying sub 29 for swimmers in this one. I think we would need to improve it by a second.
Maybe you're the good luck charm.
Well, let's see, shall we? Imogen Mears of Bromley. 2 is Molly Allen of Loughborough. Tatiana Tustaven of Millfield in 3. Here's the full lineup for you. 4, Maddie Harris of Swim Gwynedd. Pia Murray of Ellesmere College in 5. Hannah Slater of Newcastle 5. Leah Whittaker of Ealing in 7, and Emily Crane of Loughborough. Yeah, just looking through the times here. Molly Allen's done a sub 29 before, and so too has Emily Crane. So lanes 2 and 8 have done sub 29 times. The others haven't, but there were a few PBs sprinkled in the heats this morning. Well, they can use, if they want, the 15 metres underwater. Who's going to take full advantage of that? Who's the last one to emerge? Pretty much Hannah Slater of Newcastle in 6th. But the best start coming from Emily Crane at the top of your picture from Loughborough University. She's going well. So too is Maddie Harris of Swim Gwynedd in lane number 4. Swim Gwynedd looking very prior to getting through the 2 on the other side. And Molly Allen of Loughborough. But it will be Maddie Harris who will get there first in 28.89. New personal best for her. In second place, it is Imogen Mears of Bromley, 29.25. Well, she's taken half a second off her personal best as well with that. And third place to Tatiana Tustaven. No, it's just a return. It's Emily Crane who gets third place, 29.35. So a sub 29 from Maddie Harris.
Can you wish Georgia Davis to go a 26 or something incredible? He seems to be getting it spot on, Bob.
Well, I got one. Well done, Maddie Harris, and also some good improvements and some good personal bests along the way. But Georgia Davis, as we mentioned in the heats this morning, not overly pleased, not overly enchanted with her 100 backstroke time, but her 50 we know is very, very quick.
Yeah, this morning she just looked kind of slightly just a case of, yeah, I'm just going to make it through. She wasn't giving too much, was she? So I'll be interested to see what Georgia's got in the bag. I really hope the 100 doesn't knock her confidence altogether. And I think it's one of those that's very difficult because I think Georgia's just so hard on herself. It wasn't a terrible swim, it just wasn't what she expected. So I hope that she can have confidence going into this event and pull out a good 50.
She is the British record holder, by the way, at 27.21. We'll see her shortly. There's Harriet West of Loughborough University, who will take her place on the block number 6. Here's Harriet West.
The one before was Kathleen Dawson.
It was, yeah, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. She's in 2, Kathleen Dawson, University of Stirling. Cassie Wilde of University of Stirling goes in 3, so there are 2 from Stirling in here. Now, Coventry don't have many swimmers here, but they do have Lauren Cox making a final. And again, having a chat with her coach, Adam Rockwood, about what he hoped she might do today. He'd like her to be around her personal best, 28.39. Perhaps go beyond that if she can, but this is the swimmer they're going to have to catch, and likelihood is she might well be a second or more clear of everybody else come the end of the 50.
Gosh,
So-
every time them lights come up, I get a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. Your eyes have to adjust very quickly, don't they, to almost pitch black to very bright lights. It's like, you better tell us your secrets. Like an interrogation squad. Jessica Shaw, Birmingham University in 1. Kathleen Dawson, University of Stirling 2. Cassie Wilde of Stirling 3. Loughborough and Georgia Davis. Of course, she trains with James Gibson in Turkey with the Energy Squad. 5, Lauren Cox, City of Coventry. Loughborough University, Harriet West. Edinburgh University, Lucy Hope in 7. And Lily Bosley of the City of Sheffield is in lane number 8. Georgia Davis, the British record holder, with that 27.21. Well, if she could get close to that today, I'm sure she'd be absolutely thrilled. There is no qualification time for the World, so it's just a case of go out there and see what you can do. And we know what she can do. And I'm sure she will do it over the next 27 to 28 seconds. Georgia Davis in lane number 4 will use the underwater for as long as she possibly can. She doesn't come up first. Coming up first in 6 is Harriet West, but this is now where Georgia Davis says, see ya, I'm on my way. And we'll try and blow the rest away. Lauren Cox to her left-hand side. Cassie Wilde to her left. As we look, it's going to be Georgia, but not by as much a margin as I thought. To be absolutely honest, that was much, much tighter than I expected that to be. 28.10, and Lauren Cox has done a big PB, Adam Rockwood. Well, you wanted to do a PB. She's done it by 0.2 of a second in the end, and she only lost out to the best 50 backstroker in Britain by 1/10 of a second. What a swim, Lauren Cox there. Cassie Wilde with a 28.43. I got to say, I anticipated there being quite a big margin between 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, Georgia's got a personal best time of a 27 low, so obviously it is fairly over 50 metres, quite a long way off her personal best. But job done. She's British champion yet again on that event, so it'll be interesting to see what she says to John and James in commentary.
Well, Lauren Cox, that was superb. Cassie Wilde, well, she has been a little bit quicker than that. 28.43 today. Kathleen Dawson in 4th place, but well, they'll be really pleased about that in Coventry. I know that Adam Rockwood most certainly will be. And for the second time this week, we're going to hear from Georgia Davis, who's now in the studio with John and James to talk about her 50 backstroke final.
Well, there you have it. That concludes your week, Georgia, and concluding it with another British title. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy to have won that race. It was really, really close. The field's strong, and I think that's a testament to how well sort of British women is doing. And yeah, it's good. It's like all these young girls keeping me on my toes. I'm a bit of a veteran now, so it's nice, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so but you were a little bit disappointed with the 100 earlier in the week. As the week goes through, how do you kind of keep your mind focused when you've had that disappointment to, stay positive?
Well, I had a couple of days off. I didn't swim the 200. So I had 2 days to kind of pick myself back up. And to be honest, again, I'm not pleased with that time, but it's kind of been a couple of days where I've had to just regroup and try and work out what went wrong and then try and swim my best race tonight. And yeah, I'm just pleased to come away with the gold.
It's, brilliant to see you get that win. And obviously, you say a veteran, I just say very experienced. Being able to pick yourself up and move forward comes with that. So for swimmers out there who are maybe at home who don't get their swim, what advice would you give them in sort of how to pick yourself up and move forward and become British champion again?
It's not possible for people to do PBs every time they swim. And sometimes for unknown reasons, you might have done everything right, but it doesn't always come together, and it happens to everyone. So you just have to kind of put a positive spin on it and try and find anything good out of each race and then move forward.
Yeah. And look, absolutely brilliant to see you take another gold. Congratulations. We've got everything crossed for you after the announcements come out for next week. Ladies and gentlemen, your British champion, please give it up for her once again, 2 in a week, Georgia Davis.
Thank you.
Legend.
Yeah, the 50 and 100 double done. And the backstroke for Georgia Davis, who can now hop on a plane back to Turkey and resume training with James Gibson out there.
Yeah, and for Georgia, it's one of those that will be very, very surprised if she's not on that team. Obviously, it's pretty much certain that she will be going with, obviously, having that relay. She is one of those that we've been saying all week. She's very reliable, so they've got 8 wild card places, and I'm pretty sure Georgia will be one of those.
Right. Everybody, pray silence for the arrival of maybe one of our potential superstars for the future. We saw what he can do in 100. I'm really interested to see what he can do in 200 tomorrow. Jacob Whittle did a new personal best in the 50 this morning. He goes in lane number 4. Now, I don't think he's a splash and dash merchant, but we'll see what he can do tonight. He's in 4. Remember, he's 14 years of age and is the fastest 100 freestyler in the world of all time at his age. How exciting is that?
Yeah, he's probably blown himself away, to be honest. Probably outdone everything he expected to do here. So what a week it's been for him.
Matthew Ferguson, Woking in 1. Reed Jones, Plymouth Leander in 2. Adrian Ting of Maidenhead in 3. Jacob Whittle, we mentioned. He goes in 4. Thomas Watkin in 5. Alex White of Exeter City in 6. Fraser Agnew in 7. There is no 8. And Fraser's from Aberdeen. Now, I did mention this morning about Jacob's start that some of the coaches say he's still a bit raw when it comes to the start. Once he gets in the ball, he's dynamite, he's lightning. His start is a little bit, looks overly bad.
He does this little foot twitch on the back of the wedge every time he starts. It's just kind of a little wobble, but I think that's just to make sure that the wedge block is in place. But it's great that he's got room for improvement.
Certainly is, and he will improve in time. He's coming through. Look how strong he is. Look how strong. Lane number 4, is he going to get it? He's not going to quite get it. 2 or 3. It's going to be Reed Jones. Reed Jones at a 23.66. Whittle 23.75. Actually slower than he went this morning, but I don't think he's a 50 swimmer at the moment. I think 200 will give us more of an indication where he is. Second place going to Thomas Watkin of Royal Wolverhampton, and third place to Matthew Ferguson. So Reed Jones, previous best time 24.04. Taken a big chunk out of that. Thomas Watkin was 23.77, and he's taken 8 100s out of that. So the top 2 both heading in the right direction.
This is the men's 50-meter freestyle
transition time. 50 final for the those who are in the transition final. Coming on to line 1, Harry Stacey of Chiverers. 2 is Neil Wiley of the City of Manchester Aquatics. 3, Cameron Brooks-Clark, personal best for him this morning. 4 is Daniel Jones of Swansea University. 5, Adam Metcalf of Ellesmere College Titans. Sam Irvin of Loughborough University in 6. Elliot Clark, who was for a time in Loughborough, now back in the Sheffield programme, is in lane 7. And James Oxborough of Loughborough goes in lane number 8.
Elliot's a Mansfield boy, where I'm from.
That's right. Certainly is. All the best people are, apparently, I'm told. Is that right?
Thanks, Bob.
Junior time required is 22.86 for the World and European Juniors later on this year.
There's only one, Adam, that is a junior in this final. We have got Matthew Richards going in the open final, so could be a possibility.
A lot of slapping going on again. When you're ready, boys. 50 freestyle final. Noise in the bleachers. Need a bit of quiet and hush as they all get in. A couple of PBs. That's 3 PBs there were this morning for Neil Wiley, for Cameron Brooks-Clark, and for Adam Metcalf in 5. 50 freestyle final, the men's transition final. And let's see who can do what. Well, again, it's going to be hard to call early stages. Cameron Brooks-Clark's had a good start. Daniel Jones has at the top of the picture, though. Look at 8 and 7. I tell you what, this is ridiculous. I'm not quite sure where to look for the winner on this one. It might well be 3. Cameron Brooks-Clark is coming through. He's going to get this. Is he? Is he? Is he? No, he's not. Neil Wiley does. Oh, well, that was a ridiculous one. I didn't have a hope on that one, to be absolutely honest. 23.20 for Neil Wiley, and second place to Adam Metcalf in 20. Now look at top 3 separated by, well, top 4 separated Top 5 separated by 7/100ths of a second there. Give me a chance, boys, will you? 32.20 for Neil Wiley, and that's good for him. That's a 0.25 improvement. Adam Metcalf, 23.22, and that's in fact, that's 2 PBs in a day for Adam Metcalf. Took it down 23.26 earlier today, and now 23.22. But coming up next could be, after this race, the fastest man in the world this year.
Well, what is it? You will know. You're Mr. Statman. What is the fastest time in the world so far this year?
Fastest time in the world. I'm so glad you asked me that question when I don't have those sheets in front of me.
Bob, every single night you have had who the fastest in the world is.
Well, do you know what? I did loads of prep today, and that's one thing I did not write down, so you've caught me out. But we will discover, don't worry, before the start of this race, if I can do, I'll find my stats on that. We have so many bits of paper. Right, so it is Andrea Vagani with a 21.53.
21.53. Well, Ben was the 21.57 this morning, so he must be second in the world.
Yep, he is.
Sorry to test you there,
No,
Bob.
that's
I
not a
feel a
problem.
bit bad. Every night you've had it.
Not a problem. And that's second in the world is Shinri Shiora with a 21.67.
So Ben it is.
So, and Ben was third in the lineup coming into this meet, but as we know, he's promoted to second, and I will be absolutely amazed if he's not number 1 come at the end of this. We'll have also look at his reaction time on the start as well, which we didn't look at this morning, and just see how quickly he is away. Go through the lineup. David Cumberledge, we've got 2 in 5. I will give you the 1 to 8 in full in just a moment. Who's this young man?
I love that he doesn't even have his hat and goggles on yet. He's just so chill.
He gets on and does it. He is in the zone. He knows what he has to do. It doesn't happen for very long, but when it does happen, he'll make the most of it. So, here's the full lineup for you. Yasuki Ledyard, Jack Thorpe, Alexander Bowen, Ben Proud, David Cumberledge, Scott McLean. We keep saying what a great week he's had. He was right on the cusp of his PB this morning. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that doesn't go later on. Tom Fannin of Loughborough University, and Matthew Richards, who Mark Spackman was talking to me about earlier on, did a PB this morning. It's hopeful he can go under the 23 barrier tonight. All these swimmers have been set targets. You may not win it, but we want to see you getting down to the high 22s if you can, or as much as you can take off your time.
Yeah, well, the first qualifying time for the World Championships is a 21.45, so Ben's very close to it, and the consideration time is a 21.84, but obviously he has to do it in the final.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, I will be absolutely amazed, because he looked superb this morning. James Gibson will be looking in from Turkey, or maybe even back in the UK at the moment, with 21.57, his personal best of the year, his season's best, at 21.11. Now, the reaction time of Ben Brown, actually not the quickest. Alexander Bowen away, marginally quicker, but don't worry about that, because once he's into his stroke, he is away. Try and catch him if you can. Ben Proud in 4. David Cumberledge is trying. Everybody is trying. Everybody will fail, because Ben Proud will get to the wall before everybody else in a 21.50. So bringing that down still further. 21.50 will be the secondary consideration time. 21.84 is what he needed. He's inside that. Actually didn't get the 21.45. A little bit surprised by that, perhaps. Second, though, David Cumberledge with a 22.09, and third, Jack Thorpe, 22.49. Cumberledge just outside his personal best for that time.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get that first qualifying time, but absolutely incredible for him. I mean, just to have that in through the heats and the finals, to be posting them sorts of time as at the World Championships, he will have to swim that fast in the morning. So it is one of those that he's trying to get used to that, and makes it very exciting for his butterfly as well.
And the interesting thing is, even though he finished in last place, Matthew Richards, who I mentioned in the intro to that, the target was to go sub-23. He's done it.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those that's bittersweet, as the junior time was a 22.86, so only just slightly off that. So great progression, though.
Well, here, once again, is our national champion, one of the best 50 freestylers in the world. Here comes Ben Proud with James and John.
Well, there you go, over in the blink of an eye, but a new British champion. Congratulations, Ben.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, after this morning, I was feeling quite good, so I was quite looking forward to coming in tonight and just giving it another good go. And 2:21.5 today, I'm really pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we would notice this during your race. You don't, do you breathe? I mean, or maybe saw you breathe once, is that right?
I don't think I've breathed in a race for about 5-6 years. It's not what I do.
Yeah. I mean, does it really slow you down when you breathe?
For me, yeah. I mean, I never train it.
Yeah.
So, and it's only 21 seconds, so.
And speaking of training, I know you do a lot of it out there in Turkey, training with an international field of swimmers. What's that like?
It's been amazing. I've been in Turkey with James for two and a half years. Yeah. You know, and everything's been amazing. Been learning so much, and the quality of training is amazing, and the racing is just getting better and better. So. And
it's quite interesting as well. Like I see on all of your social medias, it's, you know, normally you train sort of with your teammates, like your British team, but there's so many people from different countries all sort of thrown into the mix there. Is that fun?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we have so many countries, and you know, everyone comes and they bring their own individual personality, and it makes a very good training atmosphere. Yeah. So it's been amazing so far. So.
Awesome. You've got the 50 fly tomorrow, of course. Which would you say is your better event? I mean, we talked with James Guy before, who does the freestyle and the butterfly. I mean, which would you say is your best event?
Well, I mean, I started 50 fly as my passion. Yeah. But now, since I've won, I've shifted my focus towards the freestyle because, you know, as time goes on, I've actually learned to love it a lot more. Yeah. And I'm just enjoying doing it, training it, and racing it this year and next year.
Yeah, you can see in your racing that you really enjoy it.
I tell you what, mate, we enjoy watching it as well. Congratulations, you're now up there on our Best of British wall. Hopefully we'll see you back here again tomorrow night, but for now, just got to get your photo. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your British champion, Ben Proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency in the freestyle. As he mentioned, 2:21.5s today. None too shabby. And of course, when he needs to do it will be when he gets on the plane, hopefully to South Korea later in the year, when the whole world will be looking at him going, this is a potential gold medalist, not only of the worlds, but also as excitingly, if not more excitingly for us, the Olympics next year.
Yeah, I think for Ben, the fact that the 50 metres butterfly isn't an Olympic event has just had to be on his radar, hasn't it? Because yes, he might enjoy racing the butterfly a little bit more, but the fact that it's not in the Olympics is one of those that he's kind of said, you know what, I have to do the freestyle as well. And it's good he's learned to love it. And obviously for the World Championships, hopefully we can see him in both.
So to the 400 freestyle final, the juniors first up. And their target time is 4:16.81. And there isn't anybody in the field in this one that's come close to that before. Is there further into the program, though, that you can see?
Yeah, we've got 5 juniors going in the transition final, and then we've got 4 juniors going in the open final. So we've got an abundance of chance. Rachel Anderson actually made the qualifying time this morning because the juniors can swim it in the heat. So Rachel Anderson from Millfield made that 4:16.46. So she's 0.2 under that. So see if she can drop that even further. It's just fantastic.
We starting to get the makings of potentially a 4x2 women's team. Now, this is the 4, but obviously a lot of people convert down to 2 or 2 up to 4. So Macy Elliott of City of Leicester, what a good start it was for them tonight, the Leicester team. Safira Gabani of City of Sheffield in 2, Ella Dyson of Wickham District in 3, Mackenzie White of Peterborough in 4, Millie Balding of the Borough of Kirklees in 5, Alicia Dingle of Royal Wolverhampton School in 6, Mia Slevin of Daventio in 7, and Dundee City Aquatics, Iona McLeod is in lane number 8. 8 lengths of this Toll Cross pool in Glasgow in terms of times, best times in this field. We're looking at 4:22.63 from Maisie Elliott, actually, in lane number 1, but it's Mackenzie White who leads at the 50, Millie Balding in 2nd place, Safira Gabani. But they are all fairly much of a muchness in terms of time, between about 4:22 and 4:25. So anything could happen in this race.
Yeah, the City of Peterborough swimmer Mackenzie is kind of taking that first 100 out really, really strong. I think that the tactics here always come into play because whoever is first at the 100 necessarily isn't who's first at the finish, but it's one of those that's good because actually it sets that pace that now the other girls have something to chase. Hopefully she can hold on, pick it up, because you need that person at the front to kind of set the tempo. It's almost having kind of one of those pacemakers. You always need somebody to do that over distance events. Otherwise, if you're 0.5 off the pace, the whole thing comes into place, that then you end up being miles off your personal best at the end of it. So Mackenzie's doing a great job here. Hopefully she can hold on. And it's one of those that the girls aren't going to want to let her go too far out of reach.
You had a reputation for coming very strong at the end of your 400s. All of a sudden, the last...
That wasn't out of choice, Bob. I just can't sprint.
I think you did pretty well in Beijing, to be absolutely honest, coming off that wall. Where I say my attention was towards Joe Jackson. They go, oh, Joe Jackson's got all the speed. And then suddenly there's Rebecca Addington just zooming through.
Well, one thing I do want to give credit to is Mackenzie White, who is leading out in the minute, City of Peterborough. Ben Negus is their coach there, and Ian Negus, his dad, was one of my very, very first coaches. So I know that the Negus family in general like a really good technique. They like that nice high elbow. They like a good strong leg kick. So I'm sure Ben is trying to impart that bit of wisdom onto his swimmers as well. And obviously it's paying off with the Mackenzie. I mean, Alicia there in lane 6, she's starting to just come back now, and hopefully Mackenzie can hang on and not let her go too far in front.
Well, there's 3 of them pretty much now coming together. Safira Gabani's having a good swim for Sheffield in 2. Mackenzie White of City of Peterborough 4, and Alicia Dingle in 6. It is now, though, Alicia Dingle of Royal Wolverhampton who's got a clear lead. And she'll go into the wall about a second clear of Safira Gabani, who is in turn a second clear of Mia Slevin, and Mackenzie White just dropping off the pace a little bit, but she's still in that mix. Look, there's still plenty of them in there in contention to win this, but Alicia Dingle now being kept very close company by Mia Slevin on the far side, and Safira Gabani, of course, neither of them be aware of what she's doing. She's on the other side of the pool, but Alicia Dingle with 100 to go leads by a negligible amount over Mia Slevin, and then about half a second between Slevin and Gabani. But those two on the far side look like they're going to have a right royal tussle, and Gabani is now upping her stroke rate as well.
Yeah, Mia's completely brought that kind of third 100 home here. She's kind of picked up that rate, picked up her leg kick. She's trying to break down the rest of the field, and she is just stormed half a body length ahead, just over that 50 metres there.
Slevin's entered in on a 4:22.76. That's her personal best. Alicia Dingle in second place, and Safira Gabani. That's been that way for a little while. It's a case now of anybody catching Mia Slevin, and I don't think anybody's going to. The Davencio swimmer, Jamie Main's having a terrific week with his youngsters, isn't he? Mia Slevin with a 4:22.7, she's entered in. Alicia Dingle's not going to catch her. Safira Gabani's not going to catch her. This is going to be a brand new and big personal best for Mia Slevin. Terrific stuff. 4:19. She takes 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds actually, of her best time prior to this. 4:19.38 for our winner. Second is Alicia Dingle. Well, she's taken a huge chunk off hers as well, down to the 4:20s now from a 4:25. And Safira Gabani was a 4:25 motor, did a personal best this morning and beats that by 3 seconds in the final.
Yeah, fantastic by there. Jamie Main, obviously, was at Nova Centurion when I was there, and he's a fantastic coach. I mean, we've seen so many Davencio swimmers like Jacob Whittle doing incredible. So, again, he's one of those coaches that's really a stickler for tough, brutal work, but also about technique and quality, and he's done a fantastic job with Mia there.
On to the transitional. So just to say again, in terms of how many juniors we've got featuring in this one?
An abundance.
That's a great word.
Lane 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7. All juniors.
And the return of Tamarin Van Selm, who every single time she has got on the blocks, she has done a personal best in whatever event it might be, and she has done a wide range of events. Betsy's in there too. Betsy Wizard from Northampton in 5. There's your full lineup for the 400 freestyle transition. And, well, this could be a very, very interesting event because apart from Elizabeth Harris, who's been down with her personal best of 4:14, all the others, very similar times for the personal best, 4:18, 4:19, 4:20, Really not much between them, but Elizabeth Harris has been down to 4:14 before now. So I wonder if she can get anywhere near that. If she does get 4:14, she'll be well inside that junior qualification time. Madeline Crompton, Bath. Lola Davison, Newcastle. Amelia Rodd, Ellesmere. Tamron Van Selm, Bromley. Betsy Wizard, Northampton. Elizabeth Harris, Stockport. Chloe Stennett of Chesterfield. We don't have anybody in lane number 8. We just have the 7. The 7 is quite enough because this will be a very, very competitive race, and it's good to see our freestyle juniors really going for it, and they have been going for it. No holding back in the morning. They just want big personal bests, and they're getting them as well.
Yeah, the great thing as a junior is you recover so quickly. It doesn't happen when you're a senior. So as a junior, they're really using that kind of, just that momentum that they've got from the whole week, that the adrenaline that carries you through, that buzz, and that confidence that you know you're swimming well. And that's what helps when you're doing back-to-back racing. And it really kind of spurs these girls on. And these must be great friends. We often talk about the community and that kind of making friends. We saw Freya say it earlier about the fact that one of the things she loves the most is the friendships. And that's exactly what's happening here with these guys. They're really getting to know one another. Their swimming clubs are nowhere near one another, and actually they'll have made great friends this week.
And Sean Kelly is looking for back-to-back wins here with Elizabeth Harris and then Holly Hibbert in the open final coming next, if that is possible. Elizabeth Harris does have the fastest personal best in the field, and that's her at the front of the field, but then there's a whole line right on her shoulder. Look at that. Betsy Wizard's there, Tamron Van Selm's there. Amelia Rodd's not too far behind.
I think one of those good things to note is Tamron's turns, because we keep speaking about the fact that we, as distance swimmers, we don't have great turns, but Tamron really does.
And she makes so much up on those turns. In fact, look at that one. Look at that one. Heaven's sake, how much does she make on that turn?
She has done the whole entire week, and it's great to see. We were talking about it with Kerry-Ann Payne this morning, the fact that as a junior swimmer, you really need to lay down those markers, and it's obviously something in Bromley that they're really working on, making sure that you're doing 5 meters off the wall each time. You've got that really good leg kick. It's a huge advantage to her.
I take my hat off to David Court, whatever he's doing in terms of their turns, or the whole package, to be honest, but those turns, just look at this. Look where she ends up off the turn. She's taking, I would think, about 1 meter, maybe 2 meters out of everybody on the turn.
And that's what you want, because over 400 meters, that's a huge chunk of time.
Well, she is now absolutely dominating this race, is Tamron Van Selm. She could be, for me, there are loads of potential stars, junior stars this week, but she's got to be right up there when you think of the infrastructure and everything else. And the fact that she's gone in there, every single race she has nailed, and she's beaten the PBs by huge margins. We're not talking about tenths of seconds or hundreds of seconds here, we're talking about seconds, and the same's going to happen here, probably.
Yeah, she's got a really great frame as well, and she's so tall when you see her around poolside. She's not a small person, she's got great technique, she's got great skills. So now it's just kind of obviously developing that power, that strength as she gets older, but she is definitely one of our stars of the future, I think, if she keeps on this trajectory.
15 years of age, only turned 15 in January to Tamron Van Selm. Now she's going to turn with 100 to go.
She's going to do a big PB.
This is going to be an enormous personal best, isn't it? 3:11.46 from Amelia Rodd, from Elizabeth Harris. If she can keep this going, this is going to be a phenomenal swim from Tamron Van Selm. Reminder to you, personal best set this morning of 4:19.63. Well, that will be history. She won't even remember that come tonight. She'll remember the time she's going to do here, and she's going to be surely way inside that. Second is Amelia Rodd. We have not really mentioned anybody else for a while now, have we? Elizabeth Harris in 3rd place, Betsy Wizard in 4. Come on, crowd, get behind her and bring her into an absolutely superb time. It's going to be a PB. How much by, we don't yet know, and the others are looking to sing her feet in the distance, disappearing away from them. Tamron Van Selm only went sub 4:20 for the first time this morning. Look at this. Just look at this time, everybody. 4:16.37. That is remarkable and superb from the 15-year-old from Bromley. Huge chunks of time taken out today. 4:16:37.
A world and European junior time as well for her. So she's booked her spot on that team, which is rightly so, as she has just been a trooper all week. She has been on good form. So a huge congratulations to her to making those junior qualifications.
Would you believe it? Amelia Rod just replicated her personal best. Right on it to the 100th. 4:20:37, Elizabeth Harris, and then Betsy Wizard in fourth. I am absolutely stunned by the brilliance of that young lady this week. She has been, you know, she hasn't even had a drop-off. She hasn't even had an event where you go, oh, not quite as good today. She's been good, very good, brilliant all the way through.
Well, Rachel Anderson made the time this morning of a 4:16:46. Tamarin obviously just went at 4:16:37. So Rachel's probably looking at that, looking on, going, hold on, she's just qualified ahead faster than me. I want to retaliate. So I really hope she does. She is next to Holly Hibbett, who will go out very, very quick. So she's probably going to have her own race. But we have got the juniors in lane 3, 6, 7 and 8 here.
That's what makes this event so exciting. I mean, we talked about Holly Hibbett, and we'll see her in a moment. And as far as the seniors and the open time we're looking for, it's all about her pretty much. But the depth that we're now getting, after we've been bemoaning, you know, so many big names like yourself and like Jazz and Joe leaving in the last 6 to 7 years, now it's becoming fuller now, isn't it, in terms of what we can call upon, what we're seeing coming through. It's taken a bit for that cycle to emerge, but it is coming.
I just hope all 4 juniors don't just go and beat Tamarin, because then she won't make it. So, but yeah, it's one of those that it's great. We've got so many junior athletes coming through.
In a moment, we will see Holly Hibbett. There's Leah Crisp of City of Leeds. And here she is. Holly Hibbett, personal best of 4:05:01. Jo Jackson still holds that British record, by the way, which has been on the books for nearly 10 years. Jo's probably looking in. She hasn't got baby duties to sort out.
Well, she does.
Yeah, but I'm sure she'll time it to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the swimming, if you know what I mean. We've seen one swimmer in the world go sub 4 minutes, and Jo was very close to that. That's this year we've seen one swimmer go sub 4 minutes, but Jo was knocking on the door with a 4:00:60. We're not going to see that from Holly today, I don't think, but that will come in time. Nikki Miller, East Kilbride in 1. Maisie McCartney of Thanet Swim in 2. Rachel Anderson of Millfield in 3. That's the Stockport Metro lot, giving her a little encouragement there. In 4 is Holly Hibbett. And Leah Crisp leads 5. Michaela Glenister, Leicester Sharks 6. Nova Centurions, Freya Colbert in 7. And Ellesmere College Titans, Lauren Weatherall in lane number 8. Well, this morning you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 personal bests in this field.
Holly had a fantastic start there, just kind of setting the pace already at just 25. And one of my favourite moments this week, Bob, has been Sean Kelly, her coach, waving a towel.
Where's the towel tonight, Sean?
He's staying very calm. I think he's probably embarrassed over that towel incident.
I can see him. He's directly opposite us, and he hasn't got a towel.
No, but Holly's kind of set the pace here very early on, hasn't she? Going out in a 28.4, she is not hanging about.
No, she is not. And the Stockport continue on the far side, right up against the boards, trying to give her some assistance by showing her the way to the 100 turn. 28.41 for her. Second place at the turn was Michaela Glenister, and Lauren Weatherall was in 3rd place. Well, Holly Hibbett now against the clock. She knew that. Coming into this race, she knew that. It was going to be her own race. She would have to dictate the course of this and not think about anybody else giving her a pointer or even a marker. She's got to do this all by herself.
Yeah, no, she knew that coming in here. And that's kind of nice, isn't it? To be sat in the call room going, you know what, I am going to win this. I don't have to worry about the place. I can just focus on the time. And just a reminder, that first place qualifying time for Worlds is a 4:03:57 with a consideration time of a 4:06:39. So her personal best that Holly's been before is a 4:05:0. So she's well under that consideration time. But she's looking absolutely fantastic here. I mean, so many of the Stockport Metro guys have told me how hard Holly works in training. She is consistently beating the boys. She rivals them. She pushes herself every day. I mean, we've talked a lot about this week about these guys that are such hard trainers, and Holly is that. That they say she's an absolute animal when she gets into training, that she's just always so consistent, always pushing her body to the limit, and that clearly shows here as she's swimming so fast here to split a 2:01. I mean, some of the girls struggled to do that on the 200.
Yes. So she's going quickly, and we say we must pay a lot of tribute to Sean, Graham Smith, Cassie Patton, Kerry-Ann Payne, all come through the Stockport Metro program, all been World or Olympic successes.
Yeah, I think that first 200 would have felt difficult, would have felt really easy for Holly. It's now this second 200 where she's really going to have to dig in deep, because she is on her own. She's miles ahead of everyone else. It's how much she can dig down, really push herself, really use those turns, work that leg kick to try and get as close as possible to that 4:03.57. As she's on track here. If she keeps going this pace, if she can wind that second 100 up, she is going to be close to that first place qualification time.
Leah Crisp in second place, Rachel Anderson in third. Remember, we're looking for junior times as well here, not just Holly Hibbert's senior time. Fourth place is Nikki Miller, and at the next turn there will be 100 to go. We'll get a little spot on the time, and good at working out the equations is Becky Adlington in terms of what she might need. 3:05, she's lost a little bit there.
Yeah, she has. I think she just tightened up, but she's well on course. If she can come back just in a 60.61, that she can get that 4:06.39 that she needs. Come on, Holly.
She's giving it her all, as you would expect. Leah Crisp in second place, Rachel Anderson in third, Nikki Miller in fourth, Maisie McCartney of that swim in 5. Last 50, come on, Holly, dig in deep. She's going to have to do that to try and get that time. Her season's best was this morning. She has been 4:05.01, as we know. It's going to be mighty,
She needs to come back in a 29. Come on, Holly.
Well, it's going to be very tight for
Use
that
those
4:06.39. She's using those legs, she's using those arms, and she's just getting a bit close to that lane rope there, right on the lane rope. Come on, Holly Hibbert. It's going to be very, very tight indeed for her to get that 4:06.39. She won't be too far outside it, but it might be agonizingly just outside it. It will be. It's going to be a 4:08 probably for Holly Hibbert. 4:08.50. Oh dear, because she was looking so good at 200. Really was looking like she was cruising.
Excuse her language there.
Oh, did you say a rude word?
Yeah, I think that hurt.
I didn't even see that. Leah Crisp in second place. Third place, Rachel Anderson in it. Well, let's have a look at it. So she's done a 4:15.2 as Rachel Anderson. So there's Tamrin thinking, there I am, and Rachel's done a 4:15 now.
I think 2 can still go for the juniors, so obviously Tamrin is their second place. I think that really hurt for Holly there, and I really, really feel for her. As the first 200, she just looks so strong and just tightened up over that back 200 there. And it is, to be fair, it is so hard to stay on that pace when you don't have that pacemaker, when you don't have that person next to you pushing you on. So I really, really feel for Holly there. I mean, there is the wildcard places that we have spoken about. There's 8 of the wildcard places, so she could possibly, but I think Holly might be slightly disappointed with that swim.
Leah Crisp, by the way, getting second. We don't overlook that. In fact, she did a 4:12.52, and that is a brand new personal best for her by a couple of seconds as well. Holly Hibbert then 4:08.50. That's agonizing for her, and it was agony at the end too for Holly. Leah Crisp in second. Rachel Anderson with that World Juniors time she requires. Maisie McCartney of Planet Swim in 4th place. We're going to need to give her a little time, I think, to get her breath back. She's got a microphone. How much she'll be able to say, and let's see what she will say now with John Mason and Mr. Goddard. And here is our winner.
Oh, Holly, I know, catch your breath. British champion, always nice to get that. I know you were really pushing hard for that time. How are you feeling coming out of that race?
I'm pretty disappointed with that, if I'm honest. I wanted to get closer to my best time, and obviously under the consideration time for World Champs, and haven't been able to do that tonight, so I'm pretty gutted, but it is what it is, and just got to keep moving forward, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Holly, you were so far ahead of the rest of the field. Is it tricky being out there on your own? Like, are you happy doing that?
It's very difficult swimming on your own, obviously, especially for someone like myself. I love to race, and to swim on my own tonight was always going to be difficult, but I knew coming in here that I would have to do that, so yeah. I know, and I mean, both from Stockport, I know, and I've seen you training a few times, and I know Sean really well. I know you're a racer. I know you like being next to people and having that push. Yeah. Is that what you found quite hard tonight? Yeah, obviously,
but I can't use that as an excuse, and I was 3 seconds off my best time, so... Yeah. And I know it is there, and I've trained hard enough to go a best time tonight, but I just didn't, so...
Just didn't come together, but I know, you know, we've seen you swim the 800 before. You've pulled back from that, focusing on the 2 and the 4. What's the reasoning behind that? Why these 2 events for you?
Over the last 9 months, I've been wanting to focus on my more speed work to get faster, because I've always had a good back end and I've done a lot of work over the years, so I've always got a back end, but so I wanted to work on my speed this year, and my 200 was pretty good, but I'm a bit disappointed with that.
Of course, you know, you can, as Georgia said earlier tonight, Holly, you can't swim a PB every time you race. We've all seen you've been brilliant. Congratulations, you are British champion. You're joining our Best of British. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the incredible Holly Hibbert.
Thank you.
Well, she's still got a smile on her face. She won't be feeling all that great because at 200 she would have been feeling really great because she'd have known in her heart of hearts that she was well on course there.
Yeah, on her 200, she was only point, I think, 1 off her personal best, so she knew that she was on form. I think there it was just one of those that she did go out very fast, so maybe she just gave it a little bit too much early on instead of having that easy speed. But her and Sean are going to go back, kind of analyse this and want to just progress on for next year. So I wouldn't rule out Holly Hibbert because she has got so much resilience. She'll bounce back from this ahead of the Olympic trials next year. We have not seen the last of Holly Hibbert.
No, most certainly not. And I say next year, probably the 4 and the 8 under consideration. First of the medal ceremonies now then. The first event of the evening was the fastest heat of the 800 metres freestyle. And Tom Derbyshire, maybe we expected to be the front runner, didn't have the best of days for him either. He came strong at the end, maybe a little bit left in the tank, potentially, maybe paced his race wrong, I don't know, but he was 3rd place in 8:03.42. And we have a new age group record for William Bell.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, we do. 8:01.20 for the 17-year-old, new age group record for him.
He's going to be ecstatic with that,
Absolutely.
isn't he? I mean, just to book those spots
I'd
in the
say that was a
junior
9-second PB, so he's got every reason to be. As you say, it's not an event that gets swum all that often as we get towards the Olympics, and it now being an event in the Olympics, it will be swum more often, I imagine, where possible, of course.
Of course, and like you said, he's with making and qualifying for the junior meets. He's going to be swimming an awful lot this year.
And Sam Budd, target was to go sub-8, and he did that. Doesn't matter whether it's by 0.28 or by 2 seconds. He's under that 8-minute barrier, and that psychologically is such a big thing for him and for the city of Sheffield. He's gone 7:59.72, and he will be absolutely thrilled. Got off to a really speedy start and just managed to get to the wall before the 8 minutes clicked over. So well done, Sam Budd, 21 years of age from Sheffield. William Bell in 2nd place with a new age group record for the 17-year-olds, and Tom Derbyshire in 3rd. Progress being made for 2 of those 3 anyway on the 800 freestyle. .50 backstroke ceremony up next. And that was a much, much tighter than we thought that was going to be. I thought it was going to be a Georgia Davis procession, but we didn't take into account the young lady from Coventry at the front of your picture there, Lauren Cox, who was basically given the instruction, just go and enjoy your swim and try and do personal best. She did, and she did in both measures. Cassie Wilde, University of Stirling, picks up the 3rd place, just beating her teammate Kathleen Dawson by 4/100ths of a second into 4th place. 28.43, but it's a big step forward for this 18-year-old from Coventry. Never been in this situation before. Give us a smile. There you go, just breaking out across her lips. Lauren Cox of City of Coventry. It's all been worthwhile, the work that's been done with Adam and her to get a 28.20 today. And that's got to give her confidence to, well, get down below 28 next time she swims. Georgia Davis had a bit of a race there and didn't have it all to herself, but she got there in the end. Her reaction time was decent, as you would expect from the sprint program in Turkey, and 28.10 just, and only just, got the job done.
Yeah, we know Georgia's got a much faster personal best time than she saw tonight, but job done. She's bounced back after kind of a slightly disappointing 100, and obviously I think Georgia's pretty much, I would be very surprised to not see her on that World Championships team, mainly for the relays and everything as well. So she will race these because she will have that spot open and available, and with finishing first, so she'll get to swim this out at the World Championships, and I think she'll be looking to get back down close to the 27 lows at the Worlds.
And last medal so before we move on to the 200 IM for men will be the 50 free. And again, a little bit like we could do with Holly, we pretty much knew who the winner was going to be. What we didn't know was what the time was going to be. And Ben Proud doing a nice consistent roll today in terms of the 50 free. We know he can go maybe 3 or 4 tenths quicker than that, but that's really for the World Championships when he needs to do it. He did what he had to do here for the secondary consideration time anyway. Ben Proud, our winner. Jack Thorpe of 2 and 3 for Edinburgh University. There's Jack Thorpe. Nice big smile from Jack with a 22.49. David Cumberledge very close to that 22 today. He's up next on the silver podium. 22-year-old. That was a 25-year-old followed by a 22-year-old from Edinburgh University. With a 22.09 for David Cumberledge today. Interesting, actually, that I think I mentioned commentary. Ben was not the fastest away. The best start came from the man who finished fourth in the end, Alexander Bowen. There wasn't much in it, but you always assume that Ben's going to be the fastest away. Wasn't today. Didn't have a great impact on his finishing time, though. 21.50 for Ben Proud.
The most impressive thing about Ben's start is when you actually break it down is, even though he might not have had the fastest, actually, as he enters the water and that phase and that whole thing of under the water, I reckon if you stopped the clock as when his feet have left the block to when he comes up, I think he'll have a miles faster time than anyone else, as that phase is just so streamlined, so strong. The propulsion that he gets as well from that is just incredible, and he always seems to manage to come up first as well.
And I'm sure John Rudd is looking in, and we always like to pay tribute to the coaches who kind of got them to this stage. John Rudd was so instrumental in his development down in Plymouth, got him to where he was now, and also got him to world and European teams and things like that. So John Rudd, who's now in charge of the Irish program, of course, will be taking a lot of credit for what Ben Proud's done, and he hasn't even peaked yet. You know, we're looking at Worlds this year, Olympics next year. But this, for me, in the program tonight, you shouldn't have favourites. Of course you shouldn't, but I do on this one. I think the 200 IM tonight is so stacked that calling a winner in this is folly, quite frankly. Yeah. Should be Max, you'd think, but you know, there's so many potential winners. There's probably 4 or maybe 5. There could be 5, and none of them would be a surprise.
The thing is, Max is the IM specialist, if you like, but over 400 metres. So yes, we kind of put that pressure on Max, but he's a 400 specialist. So actually, this is a massive swim, kind of half of his race. So he's not necessarily got the speed that maybe someone like Duncan Scott does. And then Joe as well, we know he had a really fast 100 metres backstroke, so that indicates that Joe's got a little bit more fast twitch than Max. So it literally is pros and cons all the way through. It's who can put the perfect race together tonight.
Junior final first, and then of course the final in between is the transition 200 IM final before we get to the open one. Lewis Maxwell of Derwent side 1, Adam Wilson, PB, in fact, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only one swimmer in this final did not do a PB this morning. 1 to 7, all with new improved times in the heats. Lewis Maxwell, Derwent side 1, Adam Wilson, Newcastle in 2, Angus Allison of Warren de Bars 3, Roy Dixon, North Ayrshire 4, Oliver Fairman of Poole in 5, James Bilbao of Ellesmere College in 6, James McDonald of Warren de Baths in 7, and Warrington's Alex Watkinson in lane number 8. So the junior 200 IM final, 2:03.59 is the time that they require to go to the World European Juniors.
Yeah, and we've got loads of juniors. I mean, we've got 5 juniors in the transitional final. Charlie Hutchinson, who we've talked about a lot this week, he's the closest one to it, and his personal best is, so we'll keep an eye on that for the transition final as well. For these guys, like you say, let's hope that one person who didn't PB this morning will PB tonight.
Well, that's Alex Watkinson, our early leader in lane number 8. He's the only one who didn't do a PB this morning. His PB is 2:08.64. He did a 2:10.01 this morning, but he's right up there in the top lane in the yellow cap. Coming through very strongly now in lane 5, Oliver Fairman of Poole, whose new personal best as of this morning is 2:08.42, and he will be the leader at the halfway stage, just breaking that 1 minute barrier with a 59.59. Second, Alex Watkinson. Third is Adam Wilson, but of course the race changes complexion, or can do, right now with the breaststroke lead, because Rory Dixon of North Ayrshire has got a very good breaststroke. So too is Adam Wilson down below. Adam Wilson coming through maybe into second place, and at the top of the picture, still going pretty well, but not as well as he was, Alex Watkinson of Warrington. But can Oliver Fairman keep this going for Paul? His breaststroke is keeping him in first place. Rory Dixon is bearing down on him on the breaststroke, but won't overtake him on it. So 50 to go now, front crawl for Oliver Fairman. Second is Rory Dixon. Third, James Bilbao. And Alex Watkinson in fourth place. 2:03.59. It'll be a big leap down if he could get anywhere near that for Oliver Fairman, but he'll be looking for a big new personal best, his second of the day, if he can do it. And he is holding on, holding firm here, Oliver Fairman of Poole. He is 16 years of age. Didn't turn 17 until December this year, and he'll come in for a 2:07.52, and again, that is a long way inside what he has done before. 2 big personal bests today. 2:07.52 for our winner, Rory Dixon, with a 2:08.07 in second place, and third goes to Alex Watkinson with a 2:08.50, so he's done a new personal best as well. Didn't do it this morning, but he's the one. So all 8 at some time today did a personal best.
Can't ask for much more than that. He obviously rectified what he didn't quite do this morning tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And Rory Dixon in second place, new personal best for him. We mentioned Alex Watkinson. Did Adam Wilson manage to do a personal best? 2:08.98. Yes, he did. Top 4 all personal bests. And James McDonald, new personal best to top 5 with a new personal best there in the final for the juniors of the 200 IM.
Well, it's easier to tell you who isn't a junior in this than the other way around. So the only ones that aren't juniors are lane 3, 4 and 8, whereas all the rest of the guys in here are all juniors. Charlie Hutchinson has got a personal best time of a 2:03.8, so he's definitely within reach of that 2:03.59 that they've got to go.
That's your lineup then. Ben Cope in 1. Right across to Oliver O'Halloran of Derwentide in lane number 8. And have we not seen William Bell already tonight?
We have indeed.
William Bell with that terrific time in the 800 free.
Let's hope he's not feeling the hurt and the pain from that, and that he's just going off adrenaline.
That was a 9-second PB he did earlier on, so every likelihood he's going to be feeling a little bit jaded after that, you'd think. Ben Cope in 1. From Royal Wolverhampton, Ellesmere College's Joel Thompson in 2. 3 is Ben Harrison, Mount Kelly. James McFadden of Loughborough University in 4. Charlie Hutchinson, the aforementioned Ellesmere College in 5. Archie Goodburn, who's had so many swims this week I can't even count. 7 is William Bell, who we've just seen do a terrific time in the 800 free and finishing second. And Oliver O'Halloran of Derwentide, who's going to take the early advantage on the butterfly. It is looking a bit like James McFadden, possibly, or maybe Archie Goodburn in 6. They both had very good starts on the butterfly. Probably going to go 4 or 6. 4 for me. James McFadden getting to the wall. Archie Goodburn and Charlie Hudson. It's one of those that's really looking to go into the wall. He looked like he was there first, but came out in third place. Lane 4, James McFadden, coached by Andy Manley at Loughborough. Where the best time of 2:01.81 was quite a bit outside that this morning, but this is when it needs to be done, of course, that time. Get down towards that 2-minute barrier if he possibly can. And there's two of them going to the wall. That's lanes 4 and 5. Charlie Hutchison just ahead by 14/100ths of a second from James McFadden. Third place to Oliver O'Halloran in the outside lane. Fourth is Archie Goodburn. Here comes the breaststroke. And this is maybe, potentially, where James McFadden pulls away a little bit.
Yeah, we know Archie Goodburn's got a good breaststroke as well, so I think Charlie Hutchison is going to try and hang on as much as possible and try and come back down that freestyle leg.
McFadden doesn't have a winning lead as yet, but is in the lead going into that final 50. Then Charlie Hutchison, then Archie Goodburn. That is your 1, 2, 3 with 50 to go. Now they can head for home and hope that they can hold on. And certainly James McFadden is hoping just that. The 2:01.81 is his best time prior to today. He'd love to get into the 2:00s. Obviously, he'd love to get under the 2 minutes if he possibly can. He's being tested and pushed all the way by Charlie Hutchison. What a finish! What a finish by Charlie Hutchison in the adjoining lane. He may well have run out of gas here, McFadden, or is he going to hold on his speed? Tight, tight, tight! And McFadden gets there in a 2:02.61. He must have had his heart in his mouth there. He has won that by 1/100th of a second, and he must have looked and thought, can I hang on here? Can I get to the wall first? And marginally, he has done so in a 2:02.61, 2:02.62 for second place Charlie Hutchison, and third Archie Goodburn in a 2:03.46 into new territory for him, under 2:04.
Yeah, we've seen Charlie and Archie both getting the World and European Juniors time, but both of them under the qualification, they had a 2:03.59, and both of them have got them times to secure their place of doing this 200 medley at the Worlds and the Junior and the Europeans for the juniors.
Terrific. So another event that is moving on from a junior standpoint as well. As we move on to, well, I say this wide open field. I still think it is. I mean, you look at that, and there's the British record holder. He's in this field. You think, well, he should be the favourite. He's not even in lane 4. He's in lane 3. Thomas Dean is the fastest qualifier. Joe Litchfield went quick. Duncan Scott went quick. Jacob Greenough went quick. Mark Zoranic's in there as well. It is a stacked field here. And whilst, you know, maybe you think the British record holder would emerge and start as favourite, the way things went this morning, that may not indicate where everybody is right now.
Ooh, are you trying to not call it, Bob?
I'm not. I'm really not. I mean, kind of because of my affinity with Max and with Sheffield, I'd love to see Max do it, or even Joe do that because of their Sheffield pedigree, but I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. And the way Duncan Scott has been swimming this week and doing terrific times, I know this is not his main event, and he's got the 200 free to come tomorrow, but, you know...
Do you reckon they're sat in the call room looking at each other going, who's it going to be?
Some eyeballing.
We don't even know.
Hey, there might be some eyeballing going on there. And they're all nice lads, actually. Yeah. They're all very nice, pleasant people, but it just might bring out the pepper army in them. Just might, as they look across. Bit of an animal. There's Max. Max looking a bit too cool for school, I think, actually, with the shades and that big puffer jacket on. You don't need it in here. You really don't.
The shades? There's goggles.
Yeah.
There's goggles.
Joe Litchfield next to him. Tom Dean. I was talking more about the jacket than the goggles.
I thought he said the shades, as in the sunglasses. I was like, I don't think he's got sunglasses on.
We won't want to go outdoors, don't we? Here we go then. Jarvis Parkinson in 1, Mark Zoranic in 2, Max Litchfield in 3, Thomas Dean 4, Joe Litchfield in 5, Duncan Scott 6, Jacob Grinnell in 7, and Callum Laurie in 8.
Well, we'll give you that qualifying time again. So for the first place time for Worlds is a 1:56.85, and the consideration time of a 1:57.85.
Now, Max's British record stands at 1:56.64, so we know he can do it.
And we know that Max and Duncan are already on the team.
Indeed, they are.
So can anyone else add to that?
So, in a way, could you view this as a freebie? Because you're already on the team, so...
Pressure's off.
Yeah. You don't need to do this to qualify for the team. There's your lineup. 1 closest, 8 furthest away. Jarvis Parks in Loughborough, Mark Sharanek of Carnegie, Max Litchfield of Loughborough, Thomas Dean of Bath, Joe Litchfield, Loughborough, Duncan Scott, Stirling, Jacob Grino of Bath University, and Callum Laurie, University of Stirling. Look at that start from Duncan Scott at the top of your picture on the butterfly. He is really going for this. He isn't holding back, and he may well be the leader, will be the leader at the first 50 split. Second is Max Litchfield. Third, Mark Sharanek. And 4 is Joe Litchfield. I did say Duncan Scott looked in very good form. He is looking in great form.
But he knows that Max has got a very strong breaststroke. Duncan's breaststroke isn't bad, but it's certainly nothing on Max's breaststroke.
That was a wake-up call, perhaps, for Max going, oh, hang on a second, I'm not leading at 50. I should be. And suddenly he's really going for this. But not that he ever holds back, to be absolutely honest. And he is the leader at 100. We've had the butterfly, we've had the backstroke, and Litchfield leads. Duncan Scott second, Joe Litchfield in third place. Mark Sharanek, look at this as a battle. Duncan Scott on the far side in 6. Max Litchfield in 3, and do not discount Mark Sharanek either in lane number 2. Duncan Scott.
I thought Duncan would go backwards on the breaststroke.
No, absolutely not.
Extending that lead by a
Duncan
body length.
Scott is in a different realm, and Max is looking over and going, what do I have to do here? This is phenomenal.
This is unbelievable.
Well, surely the British record is under threat here from Duncan Scott. 1:56.64. There's people running everywhere with cameras because they want to get a picture of this. Duncan Scott is away. Look at you, you're looking at the British record holder, Max Litchfield, can't get anywhere near him. Duncan Scott, this is ridiculous. He is blowing this wide open. The British record is 1:56.64. It's just outside it by 1/100th of a second. Tom Dean in second, 1:58.89, and Max back in 5th place. That was not in the race plan. I'm so glad I didn't call it, because I didn't see him dominating by quite that much. Duncan Scott misses out on the British record by 1/100th of a second, but he does get the time for the world. That is, well, I tell you what, that has blown my mind and taken my breath away. He has won that by over 2 seconds.
I don't understand how Max, and I feel for Max because Max has got the endurance there, but he just had nothing in the tank over that breaststroke where you expect him to really come through. He just couldn't hold on with that pace, and fantastic swim for Tom Dean. Obviously, we've not seen from him. It's such a shame he missed out on that consideration time, as obviously it would have been great to see 2 boys get it, but for Duncan Scott, he absolutely smashed that first place time, and I know he's already on the team, but unbelievable. We would have said this was his least kind of, not his, well, we would have gone, actually, the 200 is his best, well, the 100, the 200, maybe then the butterfly, and not this, but this, that has blown me away.
That is the fastest time in the world, 2019, in the 200 meters individual medley.
That's completely shocked me. I'm flabbergasted. I'm speechless.
Well, I did say it was wide open. Did I not say the best time in the world for 2019 for Duncan Scott by 1/100th of a second? But it doesn't matter. It is the best time in the world. The University of Stirling swimmer, absolutely in a different league. Let's go to John Mason and James Gollard to hear, well, it's going to be great to hear what he has to say.
Oh, my goodness, Duncan. Catch your breath, new British champion, huge swim. That is, we've just had word, the best time for 2019 in the men's 200 individual medley. Round of applause for that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, massive swim, mate. Get your breath. That's all right, that's all right. I know we're putting you on the spot here. But James, the breaststroke.
I know, I've got to ask you about this. I mean, you're a freestyler. Take some deep breaths. It hurts, 200 IM, ladies. It hurts like crazy.
Oh, it does,
yeah, but I mean, that back 100 meters was just insane, that breaststroke. Where did that come from?
Dave Hemmings' masterclass.
Dave Hemmings, well done, Dave. Give Dave Hemmings a round of applause. Well done, Dave Hemmings, while he gets his breath.
Yeah, no, it's something that we've been working on for a while, and you know, I think I've always sort of trained medley, you know, and it's been the focus sort of in training a lot of the time. You know, I'm fortunate enough to train with Ross Benson and, you know, other great athletes as well, but, you know, they're obviously 2 world-class breaststrokers. You know, I'm able to see how bad I am compared to them every single day. So in some way, that's pretty good. But yeah, no, I think it's a mixture of different things. You know, better underwater off the backstrokes allowed me to sort of take a gear off of that and put it into the breaststroke. So no, I'm really happy. That's a big best time, and I think that's been in the locker for a while. So it's good to get that out of the way.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I was a medley swimmer as well, and something that I really enjoyed about medley swimming is that the variety that you can do in training. If I train too much on one stroke, I got a little bit bored, to be honest. Can you mix it up a lot in training?
Well, I mean, I try to, but there's only so much breaststroke I can do without it getting a bit demoralised and swimming next to Benson and Ross. So, yeah, no, it's good. You know, it's obviously good doing a bit of flying back and free and stuff like that. No, I'm like you. I really enjoy this sort of the mix-up, but no, yeah, I think the entire time that I've been with Steve, it's sort of always been a focus. It used to be the 400 iron when I was a lot younger, 14, 15. But that 200 iron background, you know, it's always sort of been there. You know, last year at Commonwealth Games, and you know, we carried it over. So, no, it's an event I really enjoy, and that's a world-class field in there. You know, it's some really good swimmers. So, no, I'm happy to swim well there.
And you say it was a world-class field. It was a world-class time, as we said, fastest time of 2019. How are you going to move that on as we sort of head into the Worlds?
Yeah, I guess maybe watch it back first. You know, one thing at a time. Enjoy the time that I've done, and then. But no, I'm sure there's plenty of areas to improve. I was hurting a bit on that free, so yeah, no, I'm sure there's plenty of areas to improve. Just like every race. So no, we'll watch it back. I'm sure there'll be a full analysis emailed to me by tonight, and there'll be plenty of things to work on, I'm sure.
Well, you know what, mate? You take the time and enjoy it, because that was absolutely killer. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. British champion on the plane to the World Championships. Best time of 2019, Duncan Scott.
And Becky, you made a very good point. How will that impact on his 200 freestyle tomorrow?
He looked like he was hurting there. I've never really seen Duncan hurting that much after a race before. So, and you said it earlier yourself, Bob, the fact that tomorrow morning, for those heats of the 200 free, there is going to be a few surprises, because if you're hurting, it's going to be tough to just even make that open final. So hope Duncan can recover quickly, as I want to see him in that open final. But that was just absolutely incredible. I mean, you couldn't call it before the race.
No.
I don't think anyone would have predicted that.
And I don't know how Max must be feeling after that. Not even being in the top three.
Yeah, it was such a strange one, because he looked really strong on that butterfly and backstroke, and then on the breaststroke, Duncan just kind of overhauled him, and you would think Max would have the endurance.
Add to which, I'm going to give you even more exciting news. Tom Dean's 158.89 is a new age group record for the 18-year-olds.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So, Tom Dean, that's only his second swim of the week.
Is he? I would imagine he's doing the 200 freestyle tomorrow, Tom Dean?
I would think so. In fact, I have in my bag, I have tomorrow's running orders. Let's have a look, shall we? 200 freestyle tomorrow. We'll have, let's go through some of the names here. Duncan Scott, Tom Dean. Max is doing the 200 as well. James Guy, of course, is doing it. Callum Jarvis is doing it. Stephen Milne's doing it. Well,
lots of names.
Oh, goodness me. Honestly, to make that final is going to be really tough tomorrow.
Very.
On to the junior women's 200 metres individual medley final. 2:16.42 is their target time. Nobody in this lineup has got close. Honey Osrin looked very impressive earlier on. So 2:18.17 is her personal best. She's going to get a couple of seconds off that to get the qualification time. She's in 1. Cadius Hodgson of City of Leeds in 2, Charlotte Rigg, Birmingham 3, Scarlett Major, Newport 4, Ellie Turner of Carnegie in 5, Elizabeth Kingham of City of Birmingham in 6, and Leah Schlossen of City of Leeds in lane number 7. No lane 8, and Chiara had the English junior record for quite some time before, in fact, I think she still has the English junior record at 2:15.69, according to my sheet of paper in front of me. So let's see how she performs. But Ellie Turner is looking good in lane number 5. And at the moment has the advantage. But down below, Honey Osrin, who I mentioned at the beginning of the race, is also storming through as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned these girls so many times this week, haven't we? So they kind of, every time they get in the water, they do the personal best. But as we know from the boys, it can all change on that breaststroke. It's who has the better second half of the race.
Honey Osrin just ahead, but only by 14/100ths of a second at halfway from Ellie Turner, then Elizabeth Kingham and Scarlett Major in 4. But as you say, the breaststroke sometimes sorts them out. Very often it sorts them out. And Honey Osrin is looking very good. She's probably better known as a backstroker. So the backstroke worked well. But having said that, just a bit like Duncan Scott, you say, well, the breaststroke's not as strong as her back. And suddenly there she goes like a bullet from a gun in lane number 1. 16, just turned 16. In fact, back in February, Honey Osrin. 2:18.17 her personal best. She's looking very, very good. If she can bring this back, it's going to be an excellent time. And Elizabeth Kingham just...
she turned first
she
there
did.
somehow.
I think our clock's got a bit weird because it shows she was second at the turn, and she most definitely was not second at the turn. And Honey Osrin's going to win this, and she's going to win this by a considerable distance. Now remember, 2:16.42 is the target time for the World and Europeans, and she's not going to be far outside it. It's very, very tight indeed. Can she get 2:16? It's going to be 2:17. 2:17.63. And that is a new personal best. She's into the 2:17s for the very first time. I think that probably did hurt a bit for Honey Osrin, but it's worth all the effort because she has won that by 2 clear seconds over Scarlett Major and Elizabeth Kingham. Look at that, 2:17.6, 2:19.6. And that's quite a strong field as well that she's just beaten, but 2:17.6, what great promise there is in her for the future.
Yeah, she's had a fantastic week, and it's amazed me how much these guys, we've got the girls and the guys, can just hop in the water and do PBs after PBs. And again, in this transition final, we have got so many juniors. There's only 2 that aren't juniors in this, so there's only 3 and 7 that are not juniors. Everyone else is a junior.
And there were a few PBs this morning. Pia Murray did 1, Lily Booker did 1, and Freya Colbert did 1 in the heats this morning. Pia Murray in lane 1, Michaela Glenister, there's the full lineup for you. Michaela Glenister, Leicester Sharks 2, Lily Booker of Millfield 3, Katie Shanahan, Glasgow 4, Freya Colbert of Nova in 5, 6 is Rebecca Kleins, 7 Emma Day of Manchester, and 8 is Amelia Morn of the city of Peterborough. Right then, let's see who could possibly do what in this one. Remember that 2:16.42 is what we're hoping somebody can aim at, maybe more than one. In fact, Katie Shanahan has gone faster than that. She's on a 2:16.03, and Emma Day has done a 2:12.54. So there's 2 who have done times like that before.
Emma is not a junior.
No.
So Lily and Emma aren't the juniors, but everyone else, that 2:16 is there for their taking.
Let's see how this one turns out. So Emma Day, who I mentioned, obviously is 20... In fact, where are we now? She was 22 last week. In fact, I think on the first day, 15th of April, that's Monday, that she was. So the day before the event started, she turned 22. So belated happy birthday to Emma, who is in lane number 7. Lily Booker in 2nd place is about 16/100ths behind. Katie Shanahan in 3rd place. 4th is Rebecca Kleins. And Emma Day will be looking to try and get down towards that personal best of 2:12.54, and looking pretty good, but obviously it's those below her that we're looking at for junior times right now, and those 2 centre lanes, 3 and 4, Lily Booker and Katie Shanahan, going very well. Katie Shanahan will be in 2nd place at the halfway stage. Our leader is still Emma Day of Sydney Manchester Aquatics. 3rd place is Pia Murray of Ellesmere College, and 4, Lily Booker. As you can see, Katie Shanahan coming through, lovely smooth breaststroke from her. Similarly from Lily Booker, 1 lane down from Millfield School. They're going to be pushing each other here, hopefully to a really quick time. Lily Booker's got a 2:18.33 that she set this morning. Katie Shanahan has been 2:16.03, which would be good enough, of course, for the juniors, and also a bit of a flying finish from Rebecca Kleins of City of Leeds in lane number 6. So 1 and 2 at the moment is Shanahan from Rebecca Kleins. That breaststroke really worked very well for her. Now, can she do it on the flat with the front crawl, or is it going to be Katie Shanahan? Well, she's been 2:16.03, 2:16.42 is what she requires today to make the World and European Juniors. Rebecca Kleins of City of Leeds also wants to be in on the piece of the action up there in lane number 6, and probably Lily Booker's not going to get a look in here, certainly not in terms of the top two anyway, and that's a 2:15.29. Job done for Katie Shanahan, because she is over a second inside the time that she required for the World and European Juniors. 2:15.29, that personal best has disappeared of 2:16.03 by a sizable margin. Second place going to Rebecca Kleins of Leeds, 2:16.75. Yeah, she's gone 1.25 quicker than she's done before. And Lily Booker in third for Millfield with a 2:17. And again, personal best this morning, personal best in the final in third place.
Now, what can Siobhan Marie O'Connor do? This morning she's done a 2:11.78. The time we're looking for Worlds is a 2:09.80 is the first place time. The consideration time of a 2:10.48. Now, you would certainly expect her to be getting the consideration time, and with how she looked this morning, I mean, that first place won't be too far off. I mean, her personal best is a 2:06, so we know she's swum fast, and it's really good to see Siobhan kind of narrowing down her events. I mean, in the past we've seen her swim so many different things, haven't we? Whereas this week she's gone, you know what? I'm going to concentrate on what I like to do best, which is this medley race, plus the 100 metres breaststroke tomorrow.
Kind of a bread and butter event is what she's doing here. That was Candice Hall, who just came on to pool deck in 8. Amy Bell of City of Sheffield goes in lane number 1. She set a new personal best in the 400 earlier in the week, so looking to replicate that in the 200. Katie Matz of Stockport Metro has been to 13.24. Amy Wilmot, University of Stirling, of course we've better known her as the 400 IM swimmer. It's a better event, but she'll be none too shabby at this, of course. Abby Wood of Loughborough comes on to pool deck to go to position 6. Alicia Wilson and Guildford City represented here in 3. And how good is it to see Hannah Miley in a centre lane for a final here? She's made so many finals this week, but see her alongside Siobhan Marie O'Connor means she's really getting back to some sort of form.
Yeah, no, she certainly is getting back down to form. I mean, we heard her say this week that even at Christmas and January, she wasn't even able to kick. So the fact that she's here this week is incredible, but I can't look past Siobhan Marie O'Connor. I can't see anyone kind of rivaling her and really testing her with how smooth she looked this morning. And she just looks really relaxed. We kind of mentioned Europeans this morning during the heats, and last year Siobhan just kind of looked so nervous going into that final. She kind of just didn't look like the same Siobhan that we know. She wasn't smiling and happy and relaxed, and here it's good to see that kind of confidence really come back and get that mojo back that was slightly off last summer.
British record, by the way, was set at the Olympic Games in Rio in August of 16. It stands at 2:06.88. Doesn't need anything like that today to make the world team.
Watch Siobhan's start as well. She's got a very good start.
Let's see how far up she is against everybody else on the first 50. All eyes on lane number 4, as far as we are concerned. Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Look at that. Already off the start, she's taken 3/4 of her body length off the rest of the field. That's impeccable. Trying to go with her is Alicia Wilson of Guildford to her right-hand side. And up at the top, a battle already developing between Candice Hall, Katie Matz, and Abby Wood on the butterfly, but nowhere near this young lady with a turning time of 27.64 for Siobhan Marie O'Connor. 27.64 for Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Now, here's the backstroke. We know how strong she is on the breast. She is the British record holder over 100 breast. Backstroke probably is her weakest of the 4 strokes.
I was just about to ask you, what is her weakest
I think
stroke?
It's this.
But it probably is the backstroke. Yeah, you're probably right, Bob. It's one of those that she does, well, I was going to say, we always say that the breaststroke sorts them out and puts them in, but with Siobhan in this case, she's just going to be sheer dominance.
1:00.53 after the backstroke, and this is where she really comes to life. She's great on the front crawl. She's very, very good now on the breaststroke is Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Alicia Wilson's going, do you know what, I'm going to try and go with you here. I'm going to try and make life as difficult for you as I possibly can. In lane 3, a few lanes up, Abby Woods having a decent swim for Loughborough, but nobody surely is going to catch Siobhan Marie O'Connor. 2:09.80 is what she is aiming for, and she turns in a time of 1:38.35. She's well on her way to that. Don't worry, she's off and running, and nobody will catch her, nobody will stop her. The only thing that will stop her will be the wall when she gets there. You can see the time she needs, 2:09.80, the first qualifying time. Secondary consideration, 2:10.48. Come on, Siobhan, this is all about you and the clock, and you're used to doing this. That British record, 2:06.88, that's come, that's gone. What's the time? It is 2:10.34.
I can breathe.
Yeah, heart in the mouth for a moment there, because we're thinking, right, will the secondary consideration time slip by? First one did, second one didn't. 2:10.34 is fine for the secondary consideration time. Second is Alicia Wilson. Look at them go there. Alicia Wilson of Guildford. Bang! That is a mighty, mighty big new personal best. She set a personal best this morning, and she's broken it by 3 seconds tonight. 2:11.60 from Alicia Wilson.
Honestly, I held my breath there. I was that
Yeah,
nervous.
me too.
I was like,
Me
oh my
too.
gosh, Siobhan. That was just so close, so tight. She tightened up more on that freestyle leg, and obviously it clearly hurt her, but making that consideration time for Worlds. So I'm just so chuffed for her.
I actually want to not only pay tribute to her, but focus in on that second place for Alicia Wilson, who had a big personal best this morning, 2:14.09. She's taken it down to 2:11.60 tonight.
PB for Abby Wood as well. That's definitely moving in the right direction for her. And I don't think if you'd have told Hannah she was going to come fourth in that event, she'd have probably laughed at you with everything with ankle surgery. So well done to all those girls.
Well, what an incredible finish. She managed to get that secondary consideration time, and a terrific race.
Siobhan can't even walk.
Alicia Wilson in second place, and she'll try and get a smile. They give her a microphone. She said, you know what, I could just about walk over to our studio, and that's where she's heading now. James and John waiting to greet her, and we'll hear from the British champion in the 200 metres individual medley. Here's Siobhan Marie O'Connor with John and with James.
There we are. I know, a big swim for you there, Siobhan. Got your breath. But British champion inside the consideration time for the World Championships. How was that for you? How did that feel?
I'm, obviously really happy to be British champion. I think, that's, I'm really proud. But I think, to be honest, I kind of wanted a bit more from myself in that swim. But unfortunately, I felt really good in the heat, but I don't know, just tonight it wasn't quite meant to be, but yeah, I'm pleased with that. I think, I've had pretty tough few months, so to, come here and be British champion, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, but inside the consideration time, so that might be a little bit of a relief, maybe. How do you move it forward now? Going to that World Championships, we know you're not 100% happy with the time tonight, you want to move it on. How do you do that?
I think it's just more consistency. I've always sort of managed to swim better in the summer. Obviously, touch wood, you never know. But for this time in April, it's not too far off of what I've been in previous years. And so hopefully, in the summer, I'll move it on if I make the team.
Of course, and fingers crossed, we'll know pretty soon. I know you're racing the 100 tomorrow as well. Just the 2 events for you this week. It's a smaller schedule. What's sort of the reasoning behind that focused sort of schedule?
Yeah, I've not had the best block of training, to be honest, and, it's been tough. Like, I hadn't actually raced, long course before this meet, so, I think, just sort of wanted to try and focus on the events that I thought the best chance of qualifying in, so, fingers crossed.
You've always enjoyed swimming that 100 metres breaststroke. Yeah, are you looking forward to it tomorrow?
Yeah, I am, I think, 100 breaststroke's always... it's a good fun event. It definitely doesn't hurt as much as a 200 medley, so, yeah.
An easy Sunday for you, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I don't know about easy, but yeah, it's easier than today, I suppose. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And look, congratulations, like we said, you're making it up onto our Best of British wall. British champion, consideration time. It was a cracking swim, even though you're not the happiest with it. We loved watching it. So good luck for tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, Siobhan Marie O'Connor.
Thank you.
Hey, it was a question I was going to ask you earlier on, and maybe in hindsight, maybe I should have asked you before. I just wonder whether people have favourite pools, because her last memory of this pool had been underperforming last August. I wonder whether it's hard to shake that out of your memory bank.
I think a little bit, but I think more with Siobhan is the fact that because she is, bless her, plagued with so much illness and injury, she just never seems to have that really consistent block of training. And she openly said there that at this level, you need to have that consistency. You need to have kind of that base block. And she has got great skills. She's got great technique. So now she just needs, hopefully, she can have a consistent block from now to the summer. She can have a really good block of work, illness and injury free, touch wood for her, and she can progress on that for the summer. As it's one of those that the pieces just haven't come together for Siobhan. Even though she's still making worlds, for her that was slightly off the mark. So I really hope she can kind of pull something out the bag for this summer.
Presentation now for the 400 metres freestyle. And Holly Hibbert at 200 metres was 2:01.60 and was absolutely flying. We're thinking, this looks superb. And it was superb at that point.
I really, really feel for Holly. I really do. As I just, you heard it with her interview with James and John. She just didn't have it. It was kind of one of those that we've spoke about so much with Georgia Davis this week, that sometimes a swim just doesn't come together. And unfortunately, it was just that for Holly. It wasn't a bad swim. It wasn't absolutely shocking, but it's not where she wanted to be. She went out really, really strong and just couldn't bring it home. And whether that's to do with the fact that she had no one there pacing her, she just tightened up, who knows? Obviously, that's what her and her coach are going to work out. But I really, really feel for her.
Rachel Anson will be very happy with her time of 4:15.21. However, as Leah Crispell with a 4:12.52. Just looking at the breakdown of the Holly Hibbert swim, it was basically from 250 to 300 where she kind of lost the pacing there.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that, did she tighten up? Did she lose focus? I doubt Holly is losing focus. And to be honest, I'd be really surprised if she lost form, because we know she's got good base endurance there. So sometimes a race just doesn't come together on the night, and it happens, and you go away going a little bit stumped by that one, why it didn't work out. And it could just be as simple as that, as it does happen. As Georgia Davis said earlier tonight, you can't PB every time you get in the water, unless you're Tamron.
4:08.50 was her time, which is fine. It's very respectable, but it's not what she was hoping for, and indeed not what she wanted. What do we say about the next race? What do we say about what we're about to see? Now, if I'd said to you, coming in here tonight, Max Litchfield will not be on the medal podium for the 200 IM, you'll look to me like you often do and say you're mad.
I've never said that to you, Bob, but I would have laughed in your face. I definitely would have done that. I would have gone, no, Bob. But it's one of those, I'm stumped by kind of Max's swim there, but at the same time, for Duncan Scott and Tom Dean as well, I think Tom, even though it was an incredible swim, an age group record, everything else, I think Tom will be slightly disappointed to not make that consideration time for Worlds, but at the same time, it's definitely moving in the right direction, and I think Tom Dean will be rivaling that next year at the Olympics when he's got that year of experience under his belt, that year of work ahead of next year. Remember Tom Dean's name.
There is a Litchfield on the medal podium, however, and it's younger brother Joe who gets there, just edging out Mark Juranic, who in turn was only 1/100th ahead of Max Litchfield. But Tom Dean, new age group record for 18 to 19s from Bath. Only his second swim of the week as well. And of course, he's only recently moved to Bath. It's only in the last year that he's actually moved down to the National Centre there.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting how these boys recover tonight. They need to kind of get fed, get a sports massage, swim down well, get a good night's sleep, and just rest up for that heat swim tomorrow morning, as it's going to be very, very tough to make that men's 200 freestyle final.
And by the way, well done to Maidenhead for getting Tom Dean to the level he was before he went to Bath as well. Duncan Scott, well, we thought it was going to be quite phenomenal. We thought the British record was going to go at one stage. And
so close.
He was, wasn't he? He was 1/100th outside it. 1:56.65, an absolute flying first 50. 24.95. Nobody anywhere near that. And then just from there on in, and we're going, yeah, but he'll tail away a bit in the breaststroke because it's not his strongest stroke. He was pulling away from everybody on the breaststroke.
His breaststroke is unbelievable, but then you forget as well, of course he trains alongside Ross Murdoch and Craig Benson every day, so he surely has, but I think maybe it gives Max a little bit of a comfort. He might not have been on that podium, but he still holds the British record, so maybe Max can find some comfort in that.
Yeah, it was marginal, and that will certainly spur him on, because he looked great in the 400 IM, you've got to say, you know.
And he's on the world's team.
And that is his best event, you know.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to, you know, maybe change things around so he's more competitive at 200, but to me, he'll always be nailed on the 400 IM, because that's how he's built and that's how he races.
If it ain't broke, don't change it. There's no need to fix it at all.
But he is a British record, so we know he's good at 200 IM, but to me, I would always back him on the 400 IM every time, rather than 200 IM, which is it's a bit more sketchy and a bit more patchy.
And he's on that world's team. He's come here, job done, do what he's got to do, and we'll see him in the summer.
Last ceremony of the evening is this one, and again, Siobhan Marie O'Connor not massively happy with the time, but she got the secondary consideration time. Abby Wood, things are going very well from her point of view in Loughborough. Under Dave Hemmings with a 2:11.65 tonight, but I've got to say that the swim that caught my eye was this young lady from Guildford. What a swim! 2 big personal bests today. She took it down from a 2:14 to a 2:11, and probably gave Siobhan a bit of a scare. Let's be honest, I don't think she thought anybody would be that close to her.
Of course not. I think the thing is this week that I've been really surprised by some of these top athletes is how hard they are on themselves. Both Siobhan and Georgia Davis have been so brutal on themselves, and I get it that you put that expectation, you put those markers down, but at the same time, they are still, Siobhan still got that consideration time for Worlds, so maybe it'll be put into perspective later. It probably hurt her a bit more than she expected, but after a bit of reflection, bit of hindsight, she'll probably actually go, you know what, I did the job I needed to do, I've got that consideration time, and she won't be too disappointed with that.
2:10.34 will be, we think, probably good enough, or almost certainly good enough to put her on the British team for the World Championships in South Korea. But quickly before we go back to the studio, I think we're just gobsmacked by Duncan Scott, aren't we? That's how we end this part of our transmission.
Yeah, well, it's great. Obviously, Ben Proud getting that consideration time, Siobhan Marie O'Connor getting that consideration time. We've seen an abundance of juniors swim amazing and break records and everything else, but you can't look past Duncan Scott tonight, can you?
Thanks so much indeed, Becky. Bob Ballard signing off for the commentary position. Let's finish our transmission with the boys in the studio. Over to you, John and James, to round it off.
There you have it. The penultimate day of racing is done. Jimmy, some ups, some downs, some roller coaster action this evening.
I know. It's been like that all week, hasn't it? We've had like some swimmers having some superb races, like like the Duncan Scotts, and then we've had some downs. And something that we've just talked about as well, you can really see the emotion of the swimmers here, can't you? Sat here, and even just having this little studio, sitting them down and having them talk about their races, you can really see the emotion. That's something that I've quite enjoyed seeing this week.
It's really been brilliant, and it's also, it's the expectation they put on themselves as well, because swimming world-class times and still being disappointed with it, and disappointed with the performance, it obviously means so much to a lot of these athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it's their life, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's what they're doing day in, day out, and the amount of training, honestly, John, that goes into these races is insane. I'm trying to think of another sport where the training is so intense. Maybe a sport like boxing or something like that. The training is so intense every single day, and it's a grind. And when you've got this downtime as well, quite often you're tired and you want to just lie down and eat and sleep all day. So for these guys to come here and maybe just miss targets, it means the world to them.
Yeah, but of course, we did have some incredible action as well. Duncan Scott, that was the race of the night for me, the men's 200-meter IM.
Yeah.
Total surprise. I mean, I don't know why it was a surprise. He's one of the best swimmers in the world, but out of nowhere, just incredible performance.
I know. When I was watching the breaststroke leg on the 200 IM, I was like, he's pulling away from the rest of the field. He's actually pulling away. And you don't expect that from a freestyle. You don't expect that from someone like Duncan Scott.
Absolutely.
But then he sat down with us and explained, you know, I train with the likes of Ross Murdoch and Craig Benson, who are two of the best breaststrokers in the world, two of the best British breaststrokers ever. And that's something that he loves doing, isn't it? He loves getting in the training pool, obviously training on freestyle, but then when he wants to mix it up, he can race Craig Benson, he can race Ross Murdoch in the training sessions and really improve his stroke.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant to watch. And do you know what? We've only got one more day of action. I'm excited for tomorrow, but I'm also a little bit sad that it's going to be the last day.
I know, yeah, it goes quick every single time. I mean, my first Olympics was 2004. That was 15 years ago. That's insane. I don't know where the time goes. So it's been an amazing 5 days. One more day left. Can't wait.
One more day. Of course, you can tune in tomorrow. We're going to be back here. Finals will be again from tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. We are live in the studio at 6 p.m. So let's take a look at the schedule. What have you got to look forward to on the final day at the British Swimming Championships 2019? The women's 1,500-meter freestyle fastest heat will kick us off at 6:30. We then have the men's 50-meter butterfly finals, the women's 100-meter breaststroke finals, the men's 200-meter back, the women's 100-meter butterfly, and the men's 200-meter freestyle to finish off the entire week. I tell you what, tomorrow is going to be an incredible one. So don't forget to tune in to see us get some more up here on the Best of British. Of course, we love hearing from you, the hashtag BSC19. Let us know what you're thinking of the show. Let us know what you think of the action. My name is John Mason. This is James Goddard. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you on your Saturday nights. Good night.